Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto's strongest mage a fairy tale harem. Before I start, please support for more amazing content, and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by DragonMasterFlex and link in description and support writer. Let's start the video. From ninja to mage, so where to first arrow Sennin? Asked Naruto. The two had been traveling for a few hours now since departing the Leaf Village for Naruto's training trip. The whole time so far Naruto had been bouncing around raving about all the new jutsus he was going to learn in 3 years, so he forgot to ask where they were going. They had just exited a forest, and were following a path through a green hilly area. Show some respect, brat. Grunted Jiraiya. I thought the jutsu craze would keep him occupied for another day at least. Kid is actually getting sharper. Yeah, whatever arrow Sennin. Where are we going? Asked Naruto again. If you must know, we are heading to the Temple of the Fire Monks just outside the eastern entrance of Fire Country. They will help turn that crap brawling style you have into actual taijutsu. He suddenly paused in the middle of his statement on full alert. Naruto noticed this and dropped into a ready stance of his own. His eyes darted around the area searching for what was out of place. What's going on? Questioned Naruto. The playful tone now dropped from his voice. Jiraiya nodded up ahead and Naruto followed his eyes to the crest of the large hill behind the short hill in front of them. He was able to make out 4 figures slowly walking towards them. Looks this will be easy pickings, yeah? Stated one of 4 emerging figures coming over the hillside. They could now make out that the 4 figures were dressed in cloaks with red clouds came into clear view. Akatsuki, shot through the minds of both Toad summoners. You said we had 3 years. Whispered an agitated Naruto. As good as Jiraiya was, even Naruto knew he wouldn't be able to beat 4 of these guys at one time. They needed to find some means of escape back to the village. As strong as these 4 were, they wouldn't stand a chance against the entire military force of a hidden village. This is really bad. If I can activate Sage Mode, I'll possibly be able to stall them. While Naruto retreats to the village before having the Toads summon me back to their realm, I'll have him use the escape plan we came up with after our last run-in with these guys, thought Jiraiya as he began making signals to Naruto. Plans change, kid, it's the nature of the business. Deidara, Kakuzu, Itachi and Kisame? Isn't this overkill for one kid? Questioned Jiraiya as the 4 Akatsuki had reached the crest of the hill in front of them. The kid is easy pickings, we came here for you, old man. Stated a smirking Kisame. We do not come across one as skilled as yourself quite often, Jiraiya of the Sannin. If you fight well enough, perhaps I will replace one of my hearts with yours. Added Kakuzu. Naruto-kun, come with us and your sensei can live. Offered Itachi. I think you guys are underestimating us. Now Naruto! Yelled Jiraiya as he went through the hand signs and slammed his hands on the ground to summon. Naruto made the hand sign for Kagebushin and smoke suddenly filled the area, blinding their opponents. When it cleared, it revealed Jiraiya with 2 old toads sitting in his shoulder, 2 copies of him standing to his right, and nearly 1,000 Narutos with various toads accompanying him filling the area behind him. They said the kid had a lot of chakra, but this is insane. Perhaps after the extraction is done I'll use his heart as well. Commented Kakuzu. All this chakra has Samahata exited for a good meal. Gloated Kisame. Such disrespectful children, ma. Commented one of the toads on Jiraiya's shoulder. Yes, we should help Jiraiya-chan teach them some manners. Replied the other. It seems we have no choice. Kill the Sannin and capture the Jinchuriki. Ordered Itachi. Move it! Yelled Jiraiya as he engaged Kakuzu and Kisame while his clones pursued Itachi and Deidara. The Naruto clones and toads jumped into action, all fleeing in random directions through the forest they just exited. Deidara summoned a bird of clay and took to the air in an attempt to strike down the clone army from above the forest. However, Jiraiya's clone used a couple of fireballs to steer him away from Naruto's escape. Itachi stared all the clones down with his spinning Manjikyu Sharingan eyes as Jiraiya's clone approached him before withdrawing a kunai and throwing at one of the toads, fleeing with the mass of clones. It struck right through the toad's right shoulder, pinning it to a tree. In a puff of smoke it revealed itself to be the real Naruto. He began Lee Kyubi chakra, when suddenly Itachi appeared in front of him, and everything went black. Itachi removed the kunai and lifted the boy up into the air. Deidara glided by on his clay bird and the bird swallowed Naruto up. The Itachi in front of the Jiraiya clone dissolved into a flock of ravens that swarmed the clone, forcing it to dissolve into mud. Take him back to base so leader can place him in stasis for the extraction. I will help finish off Jiraiya. Ordered Itachi as he returned his attention to the skirmish with Jiraiya. Sure, just take all the fun, yeah? I hope leader doesn't plan capture the rest this way. It would be too easy. Complained Deidara as he flew away. Damn it! Naruto! Yelled Jiraiya as he tried to escape to save him, only to be walled off by 2 masks of Kakuzu. Nothing personal, old man. Like you said before, it's just the nature of the business. Kisame yelled as he forced Jiraiya to dodge a swing from Samahata. Naruto grimaced in pain as he slowly awakened. He had no idea how much time had passed since he was knocked out. All he could remember was Itachi appearing in front of him, then nothing. He tried to move only to find himself paralyzed from the neck down, and his mouth gagged. Odd cylindrical black rods were stabbed into his arms and legs. He looked down to see himself shirtless and bound on the center of a large stone circular tablet. A dark-haired man wearing Akatsuki robes and an orange spiral mask was leaning over him, staring down at his exposed seal. The sealing abilities of the Yondaime Hokage are truly unrivaled. If we had not taken down Jiraiya and utilized the notes from his instructions on how to tweak the seal, we might never have managed to crack this thing, spoke the man as he scratched his chin. Damn it! Not Erosenin, thought Naruto as he grunted. The last images he had of Jiraiya staring down the Akatsuki flashed through his mind. Yes, we had to take him out for obvious reasons, but don't blame us. Your own village sold you two out. Well, not the whole village, just the council. They figured they could pull a fast one on me by simply coughing you up in exchange for not attacking their precious village. They figured we couldn't crack the seal, but they didn't figure on us taking down Jiraiya and stealing his knowledge. What fools! Don't worry, one of my associates has a grudge against your village, he'll take revenge for you, stated the man cheerfully. Naruto merely possessed a look of horror, then anger, followed by defeat. Then suddenly there was a spark of hope and defiance in his eyes. I'm going to die anyway. I might as well release the fox and take them all down with me, thought Naruto as he attempted to retreat into his mind cage in the sewers, holding back the fox only to find that he couldn't enter his mindscape. After a few tries he began to panic. Trying to do the classic, I'm taking them down with me. Too bad we already tweaked your seal to cut you off from the QB completely. Good try though, patronized the man as he wagged his finger at Naruto. Madara, it's time, stated an orange-haired man with piercings all over his face that appeared on the fringes of Naruto's vision. Well, it has been fun, young one, but all good things must come to an end. Have fun on the other side, kid? Look at bright side, at least you won't be seen as the QB anymore, said Madara as he backed up a short distance away. The orange-haired man now stood in front of Naruto and began flipping through various hand seals before stopping at Ram. The black rods in Naruto's body began to glow with a white aura. Naruto felt himself fully paralyzed when the seal holding back the fox gained a bluish glow. Good, so it's working after all, stated Madara when suddenly the seal started to spin at a high rate, and a blue column of chakra emitted from it. What is this? Exclaimed the orange-haired man. Pain, what's going on? Yelled Madara. The seal, it's acting on its own. I'm not controlling it, he replied. The chakra column died down and a poof of smoke appeared to reveal the kneeling form of the Yondaime Hokage. Impossible! You've been inside the seal the whole time, exclaimed Madara. The Yondaime looked at him with recognition. It's you, the one who sent the QB. I knew you would come back for it. That's why I added this small addition to the seal at the last minute. A fail-safe, if you will, to protect my son if need be. He looked down at Naruto. I know you're probably angry with me for giving you this burden, but you were the only one I could trust not to abuse this power. You've done well, my son. From here on out you won't have to carry this world on your shoulders anymore. My fail-safe was to send you to another place, a dimension that you will only be able to travel to one time and stay there forever. Good luck, Naruto. Know that I'm proud of you and believe in you. He then placed his hand in front of the seal, and it suddenly gained a golden glow. Soon the glow encompassed Naruto's entire body. You will not foil my plans again, yelled Madara as he in pain attacked the Yondaime, only to phase right through him. It's too late. My body here is only a chakra construct. Shinigami-sama allowed my consciousness to appear here because of the contract we made, stated the Yondaime as he and Naruto suddenly disappeared in a flash of bright light. Damn him! The Moon's Eye plan ruined! All my plans ruined! Exclaimed Madara in rage. Makarov sighed as he leaned back against the rock he was sitting in front of and took a long sip of the cup of ale he held. He had been on his way back to Magnolia Town when he decided to take a detour through the mountains to check in on his old friend Bahamut, the King of Dragons. One of Bahamut's mountains was merely a cover for his stockpiling of barrels of ale he would pilfer from time to time. After days of dealing with those fools in the council, he really needed to kick back and have a few drinks. They had been on his guild's case again for their blatant disregard of the rules and regulations established by the council. He finally became fed up with their useless bickering and told them exactly where they could shove their idiotic regulations before rubbing their faces in the fact that Fairy Tail was the #1 guild for client satisfaction by a wide margin. He went to take another sip to find his cup only to find it empty. After finding the barrel he was drinking from empty, he moved to open another. This ale isn't free, you know. I'll be expecting 2 barrels of that rum you get shipped in from the eastern port in return, commented Bahamut as he eyed Makarov opening another barrel. Not like you pay for this, grumbled Makarov as he poured himself another cup. What was that? Questioned Bahamut with a pointed glare. I said even Igneel has adopted a kid to train. What about you? I figured the Dragon King would want to have his own pupil to parade as the toughest mage around, suggested Makarov, attempting to change the subject. You act like kids just fall out the sky these days. Besides, I won't take in just anybody. I have a reputation to keep up, countered a snorting Bahamut. Yeah, you just don't want anybody cramping your style. Be hard to drink, pick up chicks, and cause mischief while lugging a kid around, retorted Makarov. Exactly. I'm not getting any younger. I've got to make good use of my prime years, replied the dragon as he took another gulp of ale. Both drinkers were distracted by a bright flash of white light that originated from high in the sky. They looked to see something falling towards the ground from high up above the mountain tops where the light originated at fast speeds. Makarov's eyes widened as he made out what it was. It's a person! He yelled as he raised his arms up, sending out a swirl of winds to slow their descent. His actions caused the person's speed to slow down to a float. Bahamut had taken to the skies, swooping around to catch them on his back before descending back to the ground. As he landed, he used his tail to grab the person from his back and place him on the ground in front of Makarov. Makarov leaned down to check them over. The person turned out to be a young boy with blonde hair and whisker-like marks on his cheeks. He was shirtless with a necklace on, and some strange markings on his stomach. After finding that the boy was breathing and had a steady pulse, he checked over his extremities, finding what looked like stabbing wounds on the boy's arms and legs. The boy appears to be fine, but he looks like he got roughed up pretty good, commented Makarov as he looked over his body, checking out other small wounds. Where did he come from? Pondered Bahamut aloud as he looked back into the sky where the boy appeared. Well, you said you wouldn't take just anybody, so this kid decided to just fall out of the sky for you. Ready-made so he wouldn't cramp your style, joked Makarov. Humph. We don't know anything about him. He could be some weakling, proclaimed Bahamut. After patching up the wounds as best he could, Makarov poured some water down the boy's throat. This seemed to jumpstart the kid as he began to stir. Suddenly his eyes blinked open and he sat up, taking a look around. His eyes landed on Makarov and he seemingly blurted out the first thing that came to mind. Hey old man, this must be the fire temple, right? Where's Erosenin? He must have put me in a gen just to knock me out cause I was annoying him. It was crazy. I got captured by the team's brother, and then this weird dude in an orange mask was talking to me. For an evil guy was weird, trying to act all nice and all. What's so nice about trying to kill me, you know? Oh. And then the yondaime appeared and he was like, I'm your dad. I was like, what the hell, man? You put a demon in your son's gut. But then I was like, holy crap. I'm freaking son of the yondaime. I rule. Then I woke up. Hey, do you guys have any ramen? Whoa, a dragon summon, awesome. I wish I didn't have toads now, dragons are way cooler. Ha, the team owes me money. He said there was no dragon summons. Naruto just rambled on and on, only to finally to be silenced by the laughter of Bahamut. Hey, what are you laughing at? I don't care if you are a super cool dragon. I'm Naruto Uzumaki, I'll still kick your ass, declared Naruto, shaking his fist at the dragon. This prompted Bahamut to laugh even harder and Makarov to snicker. Don't mind him, he's had too much to drink. Hey, anyway, I'm not quite sure about what you just said, but you just happened to fall out of the sky not 15 minutes ago, said Makarov. What are you talking about, old man? Where's Erosenin? Asked Naruto with a confused expression. Maybe I can clear things up, stated Makarov. Makarov placed his hand on Naruto's head and sifted through his memories and thoughts. Bahamut had placed the tip of his tail on Makarov's shoulder to also tap into the connection. Ah, I see now, stated Makarov, removing his hand from Naruto's head. What? What? Asked Naruto impatiently. What happened to you was not a dream, my young friend. It was all true. In a stroke of good fortune, your father Seo really did send you here successfully. However, I'm sorry to say that he was correct in there being no way for you to return, he said, observing the boy for his reaction. A frown appeared on Naruto's face as he took it all in. Damn it, now I can't become Hokage or keep my promise. But being a Hokage is about making tough choices. Me being gone forever keeps everyone safe from those psychos. Not just my precious people, the whole world. I have to do it's what the old man or even my dad would have done, thought Naruto as a spark of determination appeared in his eyes once again. It's no big deal if this keeps my friends safe, then I'm all for it. Besides, I'm the son of the yondaime, I can deal with anything, he stated proudly. Well said, I guess we should introduce ourselves. This is here his Bahamut the Dragon King, and I'm Makarov, Guild Master of Fairy Tail. What the heck is a Guild Master and a Fairy Tail? Questioned Naruto, scratching the back of his head. That's right, I should explain this world to you, said Makarov as he launched into a detailed explanation about the world, mages, guilds, and even the council. After he was done, Naruto just stared at him with a completely dumbfounded expression. Could you say that one more time? Asked a puzzled Naruto. Bahamut snorted before jumping in. Let me give this a shot, Makarov. Hey kid, you know those ninja villages in your home world? They're kind of like the guilds in this world. The mages are like ninjas and guild masters are like the kages. And mages wield magic instead of chakra, stated Bahamut. I get it now, exclaimed Naruto as he nodded sagely. How in the world did that make sense to him, thought Makarov. Deep within Naruto's mind, behind a door labeled knowledge, several Narutos were sitting at desks writing on various scrolls. One of the Narutos jumped up and threw away the scroll he was just working on, entitled The New World, before he grabbed a scroll labeled How the World Works as simply started, replacing the words ninja with mage, chakra with magic, etc. Hey kid, since you're new here, what do you think about joining my guild? We can offer you exciting jobs that are just like missions. They'll be way better than those boring missions you had to put up with, proposed Makarov. Naruto merely stared at Makarov with an intense look of concentration while scratching his chin. What? Questioned Makarov. He figured from the kid's personality the missions would make it an easy sell. You remind me of old man Hokage, so I'll join, finally answered a grinning Naruto. Apparently the kid wasn't as simple-minded as he thought. Excellent. Perhaps I could take a talented kid like you on as an apprentice, began Makarov, as he scratching his chin in thinking fashion, only to be stopped by Bahamut. There will be no need for that. A kid like this is exactly what I was looking for. He's got guts and is tougher than nails. He'll be training under me, stated Bahamut. Who says you get to keep him? A young talent like this would do wonders under my tutelage with Fairy Tail. He's a shining example of the true spirit of our guild, countered Makarov. Deep within Naruto's mind, in a room behind a door labeled decision-making, a Naruto dressed like Jiraiya riding atop a dragon did battle with a shadow clone army of Narutos, dressed like the third Hokage. I tell you what, you let me take the kid under my wing and I'll let you keep your rum. After he's done he can go join your little guild, offered Bahamut. Deal, declared Makarov, while on the inside he thinking, haha sucker. I acquire a new recruit for the guild, don't have to train him, and keep my rum. Wait a minute, you're a dragon, so what exactly will you be teaching me? It's not like you can do human stuff, questioned Naruto. Who needs that weak human magic? You will learn to wield the 5 elemental armors crafted from the scales of the most powerful dragons to ever have existed, proclaimed Bahamut. You're pretty lucky, kid. Most dragons just grant their pupils the ability of Dragon Slayer magic, limiting them to 1 element. You'll get 5. The dragon-style equipped magic is particularly powerful. Even I've never seen the armors of Wildfire, Torrent, Halo, Hardrock, and Strata in action, elaborated Makarov. Bahamut was now giving Naruto an appraising eye, trying to get a good sense for his current powers. I will also help you augment the abilities you already possess. It seems your journey here converted your old chakra into your own brand of magic. It seems your old ninja techniques are now your personal magical style, independent of what I will teach you. Yes, I can sense it too. How curious. I wonder if that was a natural occurrence by your arrival or a result of your seal, contemplated Makarov. I think it was nature balancing him out, as the fox's power no longer mingles with his own. Though it still exists inside him, they are now completely independent of one another, replied Bahamut. Does that mean it can break free? Asked Naruto. No, it is trapped within its own realm inside of you. Also, I no longer sense the malevolence your memories tending to associate with its powers. It's as if its energies have been balanced out, answered Makarov. Maybe we should go check it out, suggested Naruto. We can't do that, for just as the fox cannot reach out to you, you cannot reach out to it. Very curious, said Bahamut. We can figure all this out later. Come along now, you should come meet the guild before you start your training so you can become an official mage, ordered Makarov. Get him some new clothes too, no more of that orange kid. You do need your clothes to gain attention anymore, your skills will do the talking, added Bahamut. Yeah, whatever. Hey, can we stop for ramen? I'm starving, exclaimed Naruto as his stomach growled. What the hell is ramen? Said Makarov with a straight face. A look of utter horror crossed Naruto's face. No ramen. Nuh! He screamed, causing Makarov and Bahamut to erupt with laughter. Too easy, they thought. 1.5 years later, I'll never get tired of seeing this place, stated Naruto as he admired the giant Fairy Tail sign while walking into the door of the guild. Bahamut liked to him send back to Fairy Tail every so often to rack up experience by doing jobs and break up the monotony of training all the time. Recently his training had prevented him from taking a job for 4 months, so he badly needed to kick some ass. As he entered, he came face to face with the usual sight that he found even on the first day he entered, a giant brawl. And people used to call me hyperactive, he muttered as he walked through brawl, avoiding getting sucked in, and moved past the bar right over to the job postings. His time spent training under Bahamut and had mellowed him out a bit. Now he actually paused to think about things before then throwing a punch. The delay often caught people off guard. He would normally join in a good brawl, but he really wanted to get out on a job. He quickly scanned the wall when his eyes came across the posting of a B-rank job with decent pay. He saw another hand starting to reach for it, so he snatched it quickly and started to read it. So glad old man Makarov took my ninja experience into account when I got my mage license, allowing me to skip those lame-ass job equivalents to D-rank missions. His thoughts were interrupted by a white-haired girl jumping in his face. What do you think you're doing? A punk like you doesn't deserve that job, it's mine, she screamed at him. White hair, blue eyes, goth clothing, go no not you again, groaned Naruto. Ever since this girl Mary Jane first laid eyes on him, all she'd done was pick fights with him. She used to get under his skin, but now he just got her riled up for the fun of it. What the hell is that supposed to mean, you jerk? She said, poking her finger into his chest. Not even a crazy bitch like you is going to ruin today. My first mission in 6 months. He suddenly felt a chill down his spine and looked in front of him to see the eyes of a demon looking to claim his soul. Shit, I said that out loud, didn't I? It was nice knowing you, man, said Elfman from behind Mary Jane as he bowed and gave a quick prayer. Die, she screamed as he jumped on top of him and pummeled him into oblivion. Marinette, always so violent. Lisa shook her head as she watched from beside her brother. A moment later Mary Jane stood and dusted her hands off while admiring the now bruised and blooded form of Naruto. Serves you right, she gloated until Naruto suddenly turned into a puff of smoke. I don't have time to play with you today, maybe next time, rang the voice of a snickering Naruto who was walking out the main door. Arg! That bastard! I'm going to kill him! She screamed. Mirane, if you like him so much you shouldn't be so mean to him all the time, commented Lysana. Humph. Who would like a loser like him? She replied, turning her nose up at the thought. However, Elfman spotted the slight blush on her face and decided to tease her. You usually just insult everyone else as you walk by like they're not worth your time. He's the only one you actually take the time to pick fights with. You're way too obvious. He soon found himself flying through a wall courtesy of her fist. Not another word. She threatened before snatching a job off the wall. Come, Lysana, we'll show that punk who's who around here. I bet that mission sucked anyway, she said as she stomped off with Lysana following behind her. Naruto was now catching a ride out to an island on a medium-sized speedboat captained by an old man and his dog. Since he had no other passengers, the old man gave him a discount for the short trip across the sea. Naruto leaned over the side of the boat clad in a dark red sleeveless shirt and black gloves and headband along with black pants with red trim. Tsunade's necklace hung around his neck. He scanned over the details of the job one more time. B-class job, threat levels medium, pay 100,000 J, task group of cultists illegally captured citizens, and are using them as slaves. Using them to build Paradise Tower aka our system in order to resurrect the spirit of the black mage Zerif. Take out cultists, free the illegal slaves, and destroy the tower to prevent resurrection of Zerif. This isn't B-class job because of the difficulty, but the amount of work that needs to be done. I could free the slaves first, they might be eager for some payback, or I could just swamp the whole tower with shadow clones, or maybe both. I hope there is at least one good fight, then maybe I can awaken one of these damn armors. While initially excited that he would be wielding the elemental armors, he found that awakening his abilities was not a simple process. He scratched the tattoo of the symbol for fire that now displayed on his right shoulder. He now possessed the tattoo for each of the 5 armors on his right arm in addition to his fairy tail tattoo on his upper left shoulder, but he had yet to acquire the ability to wield one. Each tattoo represented the linking of the armor's magic with his own. The armors are nearly sentient, so when the time is right the armor will come to you, Bahamut had told him over and over again. His patience was beginning to run thin though. It's almost been 2 years. I should be able to wield at least one by now, he thought to himself. Oh well, I can't dwell that now, it's mission time. The improvements we've made on my ninja skills will carry me through. Land ho! Shouted the old man from his steering wheel as the dog barked in response. Naruto stood up looking to see they had reached the target island. He tossed the old guy a tip before jumping off boat and onto shore. Thanks for the ride, old man, he said, waving over his shoulder as he walked away. No problem, fairy tale looks out for one another, he said, flashing Naruto the fairy tale tattoo on his wrist as he turned the boat around to head back in the other direction. No wonder I didn't see an engine. He was using his magic to power it, thought Naruto as walked away from the shore. Suddenly the paper in his hand for the job vanished into thin air. What the hell? He shouted, shocked by it before shaking his head and turning to look up at the massive structure in front of him. So this is Paradise Tower. What a bunch of nut jobs. Alright, first I break out the slaves then I bring this place down. In front of him was the main gate of the tower. He used a Rasengan to bust down the gate, revealing several paths and tunnels. He formed several clones to search out for the location he desired. He waited patiently for a few minutes before one of his clones dispelled, relaying the location of the slaves to him. He then descended down the stairs of the tunnel to the far right. Down in the cells the slaves sat quietly agonizing over their predicament. There was a creaking sound as the cell gate suddenly swung open and the slaves looked up to see the trembling form of a shackled Urza entering. Hey Nason, you're okay, exclaimed one of the children. Idiot, look at her, how can you say she's okay? Replied an older boy. What about Gerard? He said he was going to get past those guys to save you, asked another boy before an old man cut him off. Just let her sit quietly. Poor girl must have suffered a lot in the punishment chamber. Urza didn't respond to any of them, just kept slowly walking forward. But what about Gerard? The old man shook his head to silence him, but he kept on speaking. I bet he got caught and taken in her place. Those bastards. I want to go home, yelled one of the crying children. What's all the racket in here? Yelled one of the cultists as he and another guard stormed the cell. Calm down, Sho, pleaded a boy as he tried to comfort the child. It's okay, Shokun, Gramps is here, said the old man, trying to help as well. You better shut up, you little whelp, before I cut your tongue out, yelled one of the guards. He suddenly began choking and grasped his throat. Everyone saw the tip of a knife sticking out of the front of his throat as blood gushed from his neck before he collapsed to the ground dead. They all sat there stunned and not saying a word. What the hell was that? Yelled the other guard before his eyes suddenly rolled up the back of his head as he collapsed. When his body hit the floor, 3 kunai knives could be seen sticking out of his back. 2 assholes down, plenty more to go, rang out a voice. They all turned to see the form of Naruto holding more knives in his hands with traces of blood splashed over his clothing. Footsteps were heard as a group of 20 cultists charged around the corner and came face to face with the scene. It's him, the intruder. Kill him now, roared the man in front. Time to get wild, he yelled as began to rush forward to take down the charging cultists. He formed 4 shadow clones to even out the numbers. He began to cut them down left and right. About 12 of them surrounded him to cut him off from the slaves as the rest of the group marched forward to the cells, the leader of this guard group among them. One of you must be responsible somehow. No one should know about this island. No matter, he'll soon be dead, and as example to all slaves some of you will die. Starting with you. He pointed the tip of his spear at Sho and started charging forward when shout rang out. Rasengan! Yelled Naruto as the spiraling sphere shot forward out of his hand like a bullet into the side of the cultist, sent him crashing into a wall. He then slumped to the ground dead with a massive hole in his torso leaking blood. Yo, you guys just gonna stand there, or are you going to fight for your freedom? These guys are nothing but pansies. He yelled back at them while ducking a stab before landing a kick that sent an enemy flying. His words caused Urza's eyes to widen as she remembered what Gerard had told her. We have to fight. She gained a determined glint in her eye as she picked up one of the dropped weapons before charging forward and cutting through the reaming cultists in front of them. Even Naruto and his clones stared in awe as she proceeded to slice the remaining cultists to shreds. Where did that come from? She took out the other half by herself, he thought. We won't become free by following orders or running away, she said, turning around to face her fellow slaves. We have to fight. Stand up for freedom. Inspired by her words, the rest of the slaves stood up and armed themselves with what they could find. Follow me. I'll show you the way out, yelled Naruto as he ran up the stairs. After arriving outside from the cells, Naruto and the slaves came face to face with an army of cultists hellbent on squashing the revolt. You think you can rebel? Put them all down, yelled the head of the cultist army. The sides charged in a massive clash with the slaves fighting tooth and nail for their freedom. You won't take advantage of us. Kill them all. Kill all the slaves, yelled the cultists. We have the numbers. We will have our freedom, roared the slaves. Naruto was at the head of the charge, cutting down cultists left and right with brutal efficiency. He formed two clones to aid in the battle, which didn't go unnoticed by the cultists. That kid, he's not one of the slaves, he's a mage. Call in the magicians to take him down, yelled the cultist. Shit! Yelled Naruto as he looked to Urza. You seem to be the leader of these guys. Stick to regular cultists, I'll handle the magicians. Wait, you can't do it alone. I can help you, she replied. Don't worry, I'm a fairy tale mage, I can take it. He grinned before he jumped over the cultists in front of him and charged the incoming magicians. He's like Aji-san, a real fairy tale mage, she thought, stunned. You bastards think you can take illegal slaves and no one would find out about it. All to resurrect some stupid god? You answer to me. Odama Rasengan. He formed a Rasengan the size of his body and threw it at the magicians lined up to fight him. The attack plowed through their ranks, leaving a huge trench in its wake. The magicians regrouped and began to rapidly fire blasts of magical energy from their staffs. Naruto countered by forming a group of clones and who proceeded to dodge their attacks and fire Rasengans in retaliation. One of the magicians noticed he had directed their fire away from the rebels, taking the brunt of their attack by himself. Seizing the opportunity, he jumped behind his fellow warriors using them as cover and took aim at the rebels and fired a blast directly towards Urza. Urza! Yelled Old Man Rob as he dove in front of her to take the blast. He braced himself for the hit, but was stunned as it never came. He opened his eyes to see a smoking Naruto crouched in front of him with his arms crossed. That was a cheap shot, grunted a panting Naruto as he staggered to his feet. The blast hadn't hurt him too much, but it took a lot of energy to block it. This boy incredible, uttered Rob in awe. Now up close to the boy, he got a good look at the fairy tale tattoo on his arm. What are you going to do now, boy? There's no way you can keep this up. Just give up now and your death will be painless, declared one of the magicians. The guy was right. Naruto, while possessing massive reserves of his own, being cut off from the Kyuubi's power put a halt to him having an infinite supply of power. Still, he wasn't going down without a fight. He still possessed one thing that was greater than any of theirs: willpower. I don't care if you have another million people on your side. I'll never give up. I won't stop until all these people are free, he yelled, digging deeper than he ever dug before for energy. Tajua Kagebushin no Jutsu, he declared, forming enough clones to outnumber the cultist 5-1. What is this kid? One of them yelled. He's on his last legs, crush him. Another yelled. They started to charge only to be halted in their tracks as bunch of weapons had raised into the air above the clone army, pointed at them. What is this? They yelled. Everyone turned to see Urza with her hands raised in the air. I won't give up. We won't give up until everyone is free, she yelled as the weapons launched towards the magicians. They tried to flee unsuccessfully as the mass of weapons cut them down to shreds. Awesome, Nasen can use magic too, exclaimed one of the kids. With 2 magic users this good, there's no way we can lose, declared another. The remaining cultists stared at them in horror. Come with me, yelled Urza, lifting her sword into the air. Come on, everybody. Let's get wild, roared the Narutos leading the charge. The cultists were now on their heels and soon overwhelmed by the slave revolt and Naruto's clones. As the rebels drove the cultists back, the deserters were ambushed by another group of Naruto clones waiting for them at the docks. When the battle started, Naruto had set aside a group of clones to protect the young children who couldn't fight and lead them to a ship. The kids and the clones prepared the ship for the slaves' escape from the island. Now that the battle was over, everyone moved to the ship excited that their freedom was finally secured. Hey, where's Urza? Questioned an older boy. She went to find Gerard, replied Rob. Nasen should have been back by now, stated a little girl. Shit, you guys go ahead and take off. I'll find Urza and catch up, said Naruto as he turned and ran back towards the tower. What's the rush? We can wait, asked the older boy from before. I got orders to blow this place sky high. It wouldn't do any good for you guys to be around when that happened. Don't worry, I'll make sure that she's safe, he shouted over his shoulder. Alright then, good luck, yelled Rob as Naruto ran back inside. When Urza arrived at Gerard's location, she freed him from his restraints, but then noticed that something was off. He started spouting nonsense about how true freedom was right here and he wasn't leaving. He then used some strange magic to kill some cultists that had been beaten and were barely clinging to life. She pleaded with him to run away and how all their friends were waiting for him, but then he started ranted about Zeref and completing the tower. She thought he was acting strange because he was tortured and declared that they leaving. He then turned on her. Gerard lifted his hand and released a blast of magic, sending Urza flying down a tunnel, before she landed skidding along the ground. She rolled over onto her stomach groaning. Go ahead, if you want to leave so much then go ahead on your own. However, the rest of your friends will stay here with me to finish this tower. I won't be like them ruling through force and fear. I will give them clothes, food, and the privilege of working for the great mage Zeref, he proclaimed. What are you talking about? Everyone is waiting for us. No one will come back to work here. Open your eyes, Gerard. She was silenced by Gerard lifting up his hand and using his dark magic to choke her. I don't need you anymore. As a reward for getting rid of those nuisances, I won't kill you. You can go and find your fleeting freedom, he stated. Gerard, she gasped out. I'll trust you not to speak of this to anyone. If the government were to find out about this Tower of Paradise plan, everything would be ruined. I would have to destroy the evidence of this tower and eliminate all the workers. You can never return here. If you do, I'll start killing all your little friends. How about I start with Shower, even better, that old man you're so fond of? Ha! He cackled with evil laughter as he tightened the grip on her throat. No, she gasped out with tears pouring out of her eyes. That is your precious freedom. Live on with the lives of your nakama resting on your back, Urza. Ah, cackled Gerard, only to be blindsided by a punch to the face that sent him flying. Not in this lifetime, asshole. She's already free, a voice declared. Gerard scrambled to his feet to see the sight of Naruto holding a crying Urza. Who the hell are you? What are you doing here? Gerard demanded. Me? I'm a fairy tale mage. What I'm doing? Starting a slave revolt, killing off cultists, destroying this tower. But for some reason, since seeing this girl cry really seems to piss me off, I'm going to be kicking your ass. Naruto leveled a glare right at Gerard. Just great, the fucking government has found out already, Gerard yelled. I'm pretty sure that if the government knew about all this, they'd have sent more than me, retorted Naruto. Then how? It doesn't matter. One lowly mage. Big mistake, you can't compete with the power of Zeref. He cackled with glee. He launched a blast of magic at Naruto, but he dodged by jumping to the side. Naruto then knelt down to lean Urza against the wall of the cavern they were in. I know what it's like to be looked down upon, to be treated like I was less than a person. What you're doing isn't the answer. Do you see you're doing nothing but continuing what they started? Roared Naruto. Why do you care? These people are nothing to you, exclaimed Gerard. Maybe to me, but I've seen her give everything to fight for her friends and to fight for you. I know what it's like to be all alone and to have a friend turn on me. If you do this, that's exactly what will happen to her, and I won't let anyone else experience that hell. He yelled as he rose to his feet. Suddenly he felt a pulse of magical energy from inside him, and he looked down to see his tattoo for fire glowing red. I can feel it calling out to me, he thought as he was lifted up into the air. Armor of wildfire. Dao Jin! He yelled as his body was engulfed in flash of red light. Gerard looked upon him in shock. The light faded away, leaving an abundance of smoke which soon cleared to reveal Naruto suited up in a red and white armor holding two katanas. What are you? Stammered Gerard. Her friends' lives will not be placed on her back. These people will be free. I'm burning this place to the ground, said Naruto as he stuck the hilts of the katana together at their ends before lifted the weapon up behind his head. The blades soon began to glow with energy. Stop this! You don't know what you're doing, exclaimed Gerard. I know exactly what I'm doing. Flare up now, yelled Naruto as he launched his attack, swinging the weapon forward. The blast hit Gerard before curving upwards, tearing through all the floors of the tower. Naruto sheathed his blades behind his back as turned back towards Urza, with the building beginning to collapse behind him. As he leaned down to pick her up, he found that she was still conscious. Thank you, she whispered before passing out in his arms. He smiled before running back out the way he came in as the tower began to collapse behind him. As he reached the end of the tunnel leading out, he took a giant leap from the edge of the tunnel all the way to the shore. The tower behind him collapsed into one big pile of rubble. He looked back at the remains before looking down at himself decked out in the armor carrying Urza bridal style. Just what in the hell is this armor? As soon as it appeared on me, it was like I had been wearing it and wielding those blades my whole life. And the power of that one attack was incredible. I can't wait to experience the others. Now how do I release Ither? Naruto closed eyes and suddenly the armor glowed with a red light before vanishing from his body, leaving him in his mildly tattered clothing. He looked down on his arm and noticed that the tattoo for fire was now colored red as if to signify its awakening. Also a new tattoo had formed beneath the others. It was the symbol for fox. Where the hell did that come from? And what does it mean? I'll have to ask old man Makarov or Bahamut about this. Now what to do with you? He thought, looking down at Urza. Hey kid! Nice job! A voice rang out. He looked up to see the old man in the boat with his dog who gave him a ride out here. Old man? Hey, you know what happened to the others? He asked. They're fine. Took the cultist ship and hightailed it to the nearest town. The old man responded. That's good. Hey, can you take her to her friends? The old man shook his head no in response. That old guy you saved earlier, Rob, he's ex-fairy tale. Gave up on magic years ago though. But that girl Urza, he said take her to fairy tale. It's her dream to be free and become a mage of fairy tale like he used to be. Naruto looked down at her. She's got real strength. Don't worry, I got it covered. Hey, if he's fairy tale he must have been responsible for the job showing up. That's why it vanished when I got here. Ah man, that means there's no pay, he said to report everything back to old Makarov. This should have been a government-sanctioned mission, so he'll take care getting you your pay. Sweet. Well then I'm off. See you around, old-timer, yelled Naruto before he jumped onto the water and took off running at full speed. Kids these days, finding the strangest ways to travel at Rinko? Said the old man as he watched Naruto and Urza disappear into the distance. Woof! Woof! Barked Rinko in response. Urza awoke with a stir. As her eyes blinked open, she found herself in a room laying in a comfortable bed. She saw the blonde mage who saved her and her friends chatting with an old man. Ah, finally awake, young lady? Naruto has told me a lot of impressive things about you, Miss Urza, said Makarov. Naruto? She questioned, confused. That's right, we weren't formally introduced. I'm Naruto Uzumaki and this here is Fairy Tale's Guild Master, Makarov, greeted Naruto. She immediately stood up from her bed and bowed to them. I'm Urza Scarlet, thank you for saving me and my friends. Whoa, no need to be so formal. Besides, you're pretty strong yourself, you probably would have beaten those guys even if I hadn't showed up. Urza blushed at the praise of her savior. I gotta run, need to head back to continue my training and get some answers on this new tattoo. The old man here will show you the ropes here. See you around, stated Naruto as he walked out the room. Naruto shut the door behind him before walking out into the main hall. As he headed towards the main door he passed by Mary Jane and knocked into an empty barrel before closing the lid on it. He chuckled as he heard her screams and poundings from the inside of the barrel. He quickly reached the main guild entrance, and after he's taken a few steps outside a shout stopped him in his tracks. Wait, take me with you. We can become strong together. After Gerard, I don't want to lose another friend. She pleaded as she ran up to him. Hey, you're not losing me. Old man Rob said that your dream was to be a fairy tale mage, so it wouldn't be fair to you to drag you around with me while I finish my training. This place is awesome, so you'll make tons of friends, don't worry. I stop in often when I'm on training breaks, so you will see me a lot too, and eventually I'll be back here for good, he said, trying to reassure her. Naruto paused, thinking for a bit before then reaching under his shirt and removing Tsunade's necklace and placing it around Urza's neck. Someone once gave this to me to show their hope and faith in me. Now you can believe in me too, he proclaimed before giving her a kiss on the forehead. Urza stood there stunned with a huge blush on her face, while Naruto walked away waving back at her over his shoulder. Suddenly Mary Jane ran outside the doors to stand next to her. Yeah, that's right, you better run from me, you jerk, screamed Mary Jane at Naruto's disappearing form. She then noticed Urza staring off into the distance at him with a dreamy smile on her face while stroking her new necklace. What the hell are you looking at? Yelled Mary Jane, leveling a glare at Urza. None of your business, retorted Urza, instinctively leveling Mary Jane with a glare of her own. Lightning bolts appeared to shoot out from each girl's eyes before they each turned away from one another with umph. A day in the life. 8 years later, the Council of Magic, or in the words of Makarov, a group of both the senile, arrogant old farts and incompetent young fools who have nothing better to do than sit around and bitch about how we don't follow their stupid rules. The aforementioned group was currently in session, seated around a large round table in an open room within a large, beautiful white palace. The identities of most of the figures was hidden by the shadows of the open room. A black-haired woman stood to the side of the table, while rolling a glass ball back and forth on her arms. Urudia, stop behaving like a child, drawled one of the silhouettes from the opposite side of the table. The black-haired woman dropped the ball onto the ground, shattering it into several pieces to the further irritation of those seated at the table. She waved her arm and the glass reformed itself into a ball and levitated on top of her head. A smirk adorned her face as she surveyed the rest of the room. It's way too boring here, don't you agree, Seagline-sama? She questioned, looking at the person seated to the side of her. You're right, I'd almost rather watch paint dry, stated the blue-haired young man dressed in a white jacket and pants with thick black trim sitting next to her. He leaned back in his chair, smirking and kicking his feet up onto the table, displaying just how bored he was feeling. I almost wish someone would stroll through that door right now to stir things up just like last time. Seagline started snickering after that statement, which set the entire room into chaos. Close your trap, you foolish boy, shouted one of the male council members. He was an older fellow sporting a ponytail with a white suit and a green cape. "I have no idea how runts like you ever became council members," he declared. Sieglein waved off the old man's comments dismissively. "Maybe because we have something you lack in your old age, perhaps high magical power?" "Senile old fool needs to retire." A large figure at the center of the table stood commanding everyone's attention. "Silence the both of you imbeciles." The shadows covered his body in such a way that his appearance continued to remain hidden. "The council has bigger issues to deal with than your petty squabbles. What are we going to do about Fairy Tail? Those fools have been a thorn in our side for far too long." The council nodded and murmured in agreement with his statement. "You mean like that fool Makarov sending him as the representative to our last session with the major guilds? Not mention that insane woman he brought with him. A complete and utter disaster," uttered the old man. At the mention of him a shiver ran down the spine of all the men while the women had hearts in their eyes. "Perhaps we should invite him to join the council. He and his companion would make a fine addition," began Urrutia. "Yes, that guy certainly keeps things interesting," added Sieglein with a small chuckle. "Are you insane? You want to give him that kind of power? I fear the day Makarov loses the rest of his sense and turns the entire guild over to him. It will be a nightmare," ranted the old man. In the shopping district of Harjoin town the door to a small downtown bookstore opened and a blonde hooded figure emerged. He sneezed before rounding the corner into an empty alley. A few seconds later a silver-haired man with an eye patch emerged taking a look around before whipping out an orange book and slipping into the crowds unnoticed. A few seconds later the store sign in the window shifted from closed to open and the same orange book was placed in the main window display. Suddenly a manhole cover in the middle of the street popped open and a horde of men emerged holding advertisements for the orange book in their hands. They stampeded across the street and stormed the store only for half the crowd to be turned away in despair. Various people on their morning commutes hustled in and out of trains at the Harjoin station. A young boy with rose-colored hair slouched against the wall of an incoming train struggling to hold down his last meal. His companion, a blue cat with a green bow tie, attempted to soothe his comrade's motion sickness to no avail. "Excuse me, lad, are you all right?" asked a concerned conductor that walked into their area of the train car. "Aye, he'll be fine soon. Happens all the time." The cat reassured the man before turning back to his friend who now hung his head out the window on the edge losing the contents of his stomach. His mouth began to bulge when suddenly the train came to a halt in the station. He leaned his head back inside the train before scrambling out the open doors, the cat following behind. The boy knelt down and kissed the ground. "Solid land. I miss you. Never riding the train again," he exclaimed while kissing the ground repeatedly. "Our info says that salamanders should be in this town," stated the cat happily while looking around before turning back to the boy. "Come on, let's go." "That's right." The boy jumped up as if he wasn't nearly crippled by motion sickness minutes ago. "Igneel, here we come," he declared while marching into town with his companion. Lucy now questioned her decision to stop in this town. After finding that there was only one magic store, she figured she might as well stop by to make the trip worth her while. It was proving to be a complete and utter waster of time. The items in the shop so far proved to be completely useless, or she already possessed them. The old shopkeeper just tried to sell her some weak coloring magic sheet, known for years. "The only magic store in town, and this is all you have?" exclaimed the blonde mage in exasperation. "Please, less than 10% of the townspeople here use magic. We only have products for traveling mages. Continue having a look around, I'm sure you'll find something you like," the old man pleaded. "Fine, what I'm really looking for is keys of the gates." "Strong ones?" she demanded. "Ah, very rare items indeed." "Here we have the white doggy," declared the old man showing her to one of the display cases. It's not strong, but I don't have that one." "How much is it?" she asked. 20,000 jewels, replied the shopkeeper. "I wonder how much it is?" she questioned, pretending not to hear him. "I said 20,000 jewels," he supplied again. She then leaned forward, showing of her cleavage, and whispered seductively, "I really wonder how much it is." Before she could continue, a silver-haired man with gravity-defying hair and a black cloak walked out of the back of the shop. He wore a mask covering his face up to his eyes, with his left eye covered by an eye patch. The most noticeable feature was his face being stuck in an orange book as he navigated his way through the shop, never looking up. "Thanks for polishing this up, old man," he said while removing a pair of sheathed blades from under the counter. "No problem, my young friend. Your business is always welcome here," replied the shopkeeper. "I left the money by the register, so I'll see you next time. And stop giving the pretty girl a hard time," he said as he walked out the door. "Who was that?" she asked the shopkeeper, staring at the guy as he left. "A young mage who passes through here from time to time. Usually has some kind of armor or blade he wants polished up for one of his lady friends," the old shopkeeper replied. She turned back towards the shopkeeper to see him on the other side of the shop counting through a large pile of money with dollar signs in his eyes. "Yeah, so how much for this?" she began, ignoring the weirdness of the old man. "Oh, no worries. He took care of it for you. Bye-bye now. See you next time," he replied, never looking up from counting the money in his hands. Lucy pumped her fist in the air at the success of her sex appeal, even if it wasn't on the intended target. "Okay, that was rather nice of him," Perhaps I should return the favor, she said as she picked up the key and hurried out the door after him. Where did he go? He couldn't have gotten too far. Lucy scanned the crowds as she walked through the center of town. A crowd of women gathering up ahead caught her attention. What's going on? She wondered aloud as she moved towards the crowd. It's Salamander-sama! Yelled a shrieking brunette with hearts in her eyes as she ran past Lucy. I can't believe such a famous mage is actually here! Screamed the redhead running next to her. Salamander. The mage who controls fire that can't be bought in stores. Oh, he looks popular. Maybe I should see if he looks cool. Lucy moved towards the crowd to get a better look at the cause of the commotion. She paid no attention to the pink-haired boy and his cat that were just chucked from the center of the crowd. A white-haired man with his hair pushed up to the right stood at the center of attention. The girls and women all drooled over him with hearts in their eyes as he waved and blew kisses at them. The more Lucy watched of him, the more she felt herself become swept up in the frenzy. I can't seem to control myself. Why is my heart beating like this? She couldn't take her eyes off of him now. Ladies, your praise flatters me. Perhaps I should reward you with a little display. Now I'll need a volunteer. The girls all jumped up and down begging to be picked, but he waved them off. No, I couldn't allow you lovely young ladies to be hurt. I'll need a big strong gentleman to assist. How about you? He pointed to a silver-haired man walking behind the crowd reading a book. However, the guy didn't even look up to acknowledge him. Lucy recognized him as the guy from the magic shop, but whatever was affecting her pushed these thoughts to the back of her mind. Sorry, I'm just passing through, rather busy. The guy waved him off as he continued to walk away. No, I insist. Come, you don't want to disappoint these fine ladies, replied Salamander. Sorry, but I really have somewhere to be. The silver-haired man attempted to hasten his exit only for Salamander to use a tendril of fire to grab the man's arm and attempt to pull him back towards himself. However, the attempt failed as it triggered a cloud of smoke that surrounded the silver-haired man. When this occurred, the spell affecting Lucy lost its hold over her. As the smoke cleared, it revealed a young blonde-haired man with whisker marks on his cheeks, decked out in a red sleeveless shirt and black loose fighting pants with black sandals. His arms were covered in various colored tattoos and he wore a dark red scaly headband. His face indicated one thing, rage. Sweat poured down Salamander's face as he had not intended to use an actual mage for his display, especially a strong-looking one who appeared to be angered. Naruto-sama! Everyone, it's Naruto-sama! He's tied for the top-ranked mage you want have as your boyfriend, yelled one of the girls as the crowd turned their attention to the blonde. Damn you, fake Salamander! Yelled Naruto as the horde of girls mobbed him. A puff of smoke enveloped the mob, causing the women to halt and start coughing. When the smoke cleared, the girls all looked around with confused expressions. Where did he go? They wondered aloud. Salamander decided to use this to his advantage. Don't worry, ladies, that was one of my close associates. He's a bit shy, but you will be able to meet him later. We're having a party later on our ship tonight, and you're all invited. Now I have some errands to run at the docks. See you all later, he declared while using his flame magic to propel him away towards the docks. Lucy frowned as he flew away, finally recognizing the spell he was using as an illegal charm spell. What a fake! I should really thank that guy for helping me out again. Now all I have to do is find him, she thought as she started searching again. Phew, that was close. Naruto peeked around the corner of a building watching as the guy flew off. He then turned to see a pink-haired guy with a scaly scarf and a blue cat staring at the crowd. Natsu! Happy! What the hell are you doing here, Naruto? The best mage I know. Let me borrow some money! Exclaimed a grinning Natsu while holding his hand out. I? Added Happy, holding his hand out as well. Why is that every time I run into you you're always broke? Grumbled Naruto as he pulled out some cash. A few years ago he would have laughed at him, but ever since he made certain commitments, not helping out Natsu would be quite troublesome. Lee-sana holds on to the money so Natsu doesn't spend it on silly things, replied Happy. Ha! I get to keep most of my money. I told you if you bought her gifts, she'd let you keep more money, retorted Naruto. He did, but he kept buying her silly gifts. Therefore he now has an allowance, stated Happy as Natsu pouted at having an allowance. I bet her sister gave her that idea, grumbled Naruto, remembering when he was almost limited to an allowance. What the hell are you guys doing out here anyway? We heard someone say something about Salamander. I thought they were talking about Igneel, answered Natsu. But it just turned out to be that fake Salamander guy, added Happy. Yeah, that guy was nothing but a fraud. A female voice chimed in from behind them. Naruto prepared to flee as the trio turned around to see Lucy standing there with a smile. Naruto relaxed as he recognized her. You're the girl from the bookstore, but I'm not. She cut him off. Yeah, thanks for the gift, and thanks for the help back there in the crowd. You saw me transform, he surmised. Naruto always uses his tricky magics to hide from girls, stated Natsu in a sage-like manner before being smacked in the back of the head by Naruto. Hey! Don't make it sound like I'm scared of women or something. That's only when I don't have one of them with me, ranted Naruto. Lucy giggled at their interaction. You guys are funny. How about I buy you and your friends lunch as thanks? Free food? Awesome! Naruto, your new girlfriend rocks, exclaimed Natsu. added an equally excited Happy. Lucy blushed while a vein throbbed on Naruto's forehead. I just met her, that's what you said last time. Cheered Natsu as he scampered up the street towards the nearest restaurant with Happy in tow. Don't mind him. Natsu says a lot of useless things. Come on, let's hurry before he eats all the food, he replied, grabbing her hand and pulling her along with him towards the restaurant. Why, yes, sure, stammered out a blushing Lucy as he pulled her along. Lucy stared upon the trio in awe as they basically inhaled all the food in front of them. She was now glad that Naruto insisted on paying for the meal. These guys would eat up all her hard-earned cash. Natsu continuously reached out, grabbing everything in sight to stuff his face, while Naruto gulped down bowl after bowl of ramen. She noticed that while Natsu seemed to be haphazard in his grabbing, he never touched a single bowl of the ramen. Naruto suddenly let loose a large belch. Not the best ramen I've ever had, but certainly not the worst. He patted his belly while taking a sip of his drink. So Naruto, Natsu and Happy, right? Lucy asked, trying to stir up some conversation. I answered Happy as he swallowed a fish in one bite. You guys know each other? She questioned. Yeah, we go way back, replied Naruto. People often confuse them for being brothers, added Happy. Both Naruto and Nasta snorted at the ridiculousness of that statement. Yeah, I could see that. So are you two partners or something? She inquired. No way. I only work with cute girls, not idiots, exclaimed Naruto, banging his fist on the table. Nasta looked up from his food and shook the bread roll in his hand at Naruto. Gor bully gwa waga. Yeah, but the girls were with us then, so that doesn't count, replied Naruto. Thoughts of working with Naruto suddenly flooded Lucy's mind, causing her to blush, but she shook her head furiously to clear out those thoughts. Naruto suddenly stood up. Shit, I've got to meet up with someone. Nice meeting you, Lucy. And Happy, keep Natsu out of trouble. Aye, sir, replied Happy, saluting his retreating form. Gwlu lube wasta. Natsu shook his fist at the fleeing Naruto, his face still stuffed with food. Wait, he said you worked together before, so does that mean you're a mage too? Questioned Lucy. Aye, we're all a part of the same guild, responded Happy. I should have figured. Lucy let out a depressed sigh. Of course they would be in a guild, what does that say about me? Well, thanks for the company and enjoy the meal. Lucy stood up and walked out, waving back to them over her shoulder. Lucy sat on a park bench as the sun set, flipping through Weekly Sorcerer magazine. Fairy tale causing trouble again? They destroyed the Devon thief family, but also destroyed 7 houses belonging to townspeople and a church, saved the South Port's fleet of cargo ships from the Buckhead pirates, but sunk several of the ships in the process? Ha! 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 That's too much. She rolled around along the park bench in laughter. The drawing cards of Fairy Tail? It's Mary Jane and Naruto. The centerfold contained a picture of Mary Jane posing in a bikini with Naruto embracing her in a Speedo. Wow, Lucy uttered while drooling over the picture. I wonder if I could join Fairy Tail. They are simply the best. I see, you want to join Fairy Tail, a voice rang out. Lucy jumped back in shock, turning behind her to see who was there. Salamander? She stammered out. What good fortune. I finally found you. I've been looking all over for you. I really wanted to invite a beautiful lady like yourself onto our ship, he declared. She stood up from the bench, looking down at him in disgust. Humph. Your weak charm won't work on me anymore. That's your weak point. Once someone knows the charm is there, it won't work anymore. I knew it. You are also a talented young mage. I must have you come to the party, he proclaimed. No way I'm going to such a dirty guy's party, she responded. Me? Dirty? He questioned. Lucy's face formed a sour expression. I'm talking about that charm. You must be desperate for popularity. Salamander tried to play it off like it was irrelevant. That's only for show, so I can be a celebrity during the party. Lucy shook her head and walked away. You're an idiot and a loser. You'll never be a popular mage. Wait. You wanted to join Fairy Tail, right? He pleaded, chasing after her. Lucy halted in her tracks and turned back to face him. You've heard of Salamander from Fairy Tail? Yes, I have. You're a mage from Fairy Tail? She demanded. Indeed. If you would like, I can talk to the master for you about joining, he replied. Lucy suddenly leaned up against him, acting like a fangirl. It will be a wonderful party, won't it? You're easy to understand, huh? He stated, scratching his head. Can I really join Fairy Tail? Lucy asked with big pleading eyes. Yes, of course. Just please don't tell anyone about the charm, he replied. Okay, cheered Lucy in excitement. I will see you at the party tonight, he said before walking away. Roger, sir. She saluted him. All right. I can join Fairy Tail. Lucy jumped and shouted in excitement. Then she started giggling. I just have to be friendly with that moron until I join. Naruto sat on a park bench outside of a hair salon on the other side of town. He tapped his foot impatiently, waiting for someone to come outside. Finally, groaned Naruto as a young woman opened the door and stepped out. She had crimson hair done in a short spiky ponytail with green eyes. She wore a black miniskirt over dark blue tight bicycle shorts that showed off her long legs and shapely behind. Her tight red and white short-sleeved top accentuated her large breasts. She stretched her arms up into air and yawned before taking a look at Naruto. She gave him a look that reminded him of the look she gave him when they truly met for the first time. Stepping into the Wayback Machine, Naruto had just returned from his mission at Paradise Tower. He stormed up to his trainer demanding some answers on the latest development with his magical powers. "Yo Gramps!" yelled Naruto, gaining the Dragon King's attention. "I should have never told you my real age," groaned Bahamut while smacking his face with a claw. "Brat! How many times do I have to tell you? Show some respect. I am the Dragon King who could squash you like a bug," demanded the ancient winged reptile. Fine. King Gramps it is. Check this out." I awakened the fire armor, but then this appeared. He held out his left arm, displaying the fox head tattoo that formed beneath the others. "What does it mean?" the blonde asked. "You've finally awakened the first armor, that's good news. As for the new tattoo, it seems the fox has finally reached out to you, reforging the connection between your powers," murmured Bahamut. This confused Naruto. "What do you mean? I thought you said we were cut off from one another." "You were, but your magic has changed since then. Before awakening the armor there must have been no way for the fox to connect with your magic. The dragon-equipped magic must be more conducive to its own. You will have to meet with it to find out what is truly going on," replied Bahamut. "Ah man! I really don't want to return to that sewer. Nor deal with that bastard of a fox again," grumbled Naruto as he settled into a meditative stance. "Just so you know, this may not be the same bastard fox you are used to dealing with. Before you arrived here the fox existed as a construct of purely young energies. Your arrival in this realm balanced out when converting into magical energy. You could be getting a blank slate here, or perhaps the original spirit of the fox prior to its sealing," advised Bahamut. "Great. So either the same evil bastard, a clueless idiot, or an arrogant punk," muttered Naruto. "You of all people complaining about arrogant punks," grumbled Bahamut under his breath. The young blonde closed his eyes and searched within himself. Soon he found himself drawn in by the familiar feeling of being sucked into his mindscape. When his eyes opened he was stunned to find himself submerged in water. He gasped before covering his mouth and swimming upwards towards the surface for air. After breaching the surface he came to his knees on top of the water. "What gives?" he gasped between his coughs and splutters. "Nearly drowned in the sewer of my own mindscape." He looks up at this point to finally realize that he is not in a sewer, but kneeling on top of a sea of water about a half-mile away from the shore. He couldn't see anything behind him but water, so he headed towards land. Where did this come from? He scratched his head as he walked towards the shore. As he approached he could make out the figure of a girl going through various katas on the edge of the water. She looked to be about his age with long crimson hair, and she wore a tight light blue fighting outfit. For a moment Naruto completely forgot where he was as he drooled at the girl. He quickly shook his head, clearing himself of those thoughts. "Who are you?" he demanded. She paused in her movements and before turning and giving him a look that eerily reminded him of that creepy examiner Lady Anko from a few years ago, except this time it wasn't scaring the shit out him. It generated a completely different feeling that originated from his pants. "Looks like Erosenin succeeded in corrupting me after all. What do you think?" "Not bad for a bastard fox, eh?" she stated while smirking at him. Naruto's jaw dropped. "BB but you." She now leveled him with a glare. "What, no one that powerful can be female?" He waved his hands in front of his face in placating manner. "No, it's just that." "What?" she demanded. "You're like the hottest girl I've ever seen. I was expecting a humongous red fox. I suppose to demand you lend my your power as rent, and you're supposed to grumble about stupid apes you could crush with your paw. This is insane," he ranted. "Well, I could transform into one for you, but I would be purely transformation. I'm still not able to access all of my power," she commented. His eyebrow raised at this. "Why's that?" "The principal purpose of the seal still remain even though it is gone now. It was designed for you to be able to wield my power or no one at all, including me," she replied. "Well, your power simply didn't vanish." "Where did it go?" he asked. "Thanks to you awakening your dragon-equipped magic, I was able to convert my power into an armor for you to equip. That is where the tattoo came from. There's only one catch," she responded. "What's that?" he asked, figuring out where this was going. She laid her cards on the table. "I have to become the armor, and in order for that to possible I must be free." Naruto shook his head. "Come on now, I'm no fool. I let you free, what's my guarantee you won't run off leaving me high and dry? Our history isn't exactly one that makes me want to trust you. I also know that even now you still retain a great deal of power. I wasn't trying to hide that fact from you. The truth is that I owe you. You know that the reason I ended up getting sealed in the first place was due to me being under the control of Madara and his Sharingan. After the sealing I wasn't really me. It's like I was asleep for all those years inside the seal since I was split in half. I can remember what happened to you and our interactions within the seal, but I wasn't truly there in control. Whatever transformation occurred on our arrival restored me. I know that if you had not been born that day, then maybe your father would have killed me outright instead of sealing half of me away into you. The truth about us Bijou is that we are not creatures of mass destruction. We tended to mind our own business until power-hungry humans came along trying to wield us like weapons. You've already freed me from that curse, and this is an opportunity one want to make the most of if you would let me. Instead of working against one another like you have been accustomed to in the past, perhaps we could be partners. Partners, eh? Naruto questioned while tapping his chin. She looked at him expectantly, waiting for his decision. After a few minutes he finally responded, "All right, I'm in." His quick resolution shocked her. "That's it? What, you were expecting a month-long deliberation or something? It's not that complicated. If you're being completely honest, this will be awesome, and if not, I have King Gramps kill you. Looks like I have rubbed it on you," she replied with a devious smile. "Whatever, how do we do this?" he asked. "I'll take care of it, you just stand there. I should let you know, as a benefit of me doing this, the rest of your armors will be forcibly awakened," said Kyubi. "Head, you're not so bad after all. If you had told me that instead of your little speech, I would have agreed regardless of the consequences. So how are you going to do this? Like this?" She suddenly launched forward and smashed her lips into his. Naruto was stunned momentarily before everything vanished in a white flash of light, stepping in the way forward machine. "Where have you been all day?" she asked him. "Sure, Kyu-chan, you drag us here on some wild goose chase, ditch me for this shop, and now you're concerned for where I've been," pouted Naruto. She walked over and sat down next to him, pulling his head into her lap. She massaged the whisker marks on his cheeks, and Naruto sighed in pleasure. If you told the ninja of Konoha that the Kyubi no Kitsune could make Naruto Uzumaki do anything she wanted, he would probably sprint back to his village in fear, screaming, "God help us all." Tell the same thing to Fairy Tail Mage, he would probably sigh with a perverted grin and say, "If I got to hit that, I would do whatever she wanted to." Damn it, it's not fair. He's got 3 more just like her. "I need a beer. You weren't complaining last night, when I convinced you to come," she whispered to him. Naruto blushed and giggled at the memory of their activities from last night. Almost too easy, she thought with a smile. "I had to stop by the magical shop to pick up something. Then I ran into Natsu, Happy and Lucy, and we had lunch," he answered, lost in her ministrations. Her eyebrow raised at the mention of Lucy. "And just who is this Lucy?" she inquired. "The really sexy blonde girl I met at the magic shop," he replied, not paying attention to his answers. "Really?" she stated, looking down at him with a smirk. He suddenly realizes what he just said and attempts to defend himself. "Don't give me that look. Because you just had spent the day at that hair salon and spa, I almost got mobbed by a horde of fangirls," he declared. "A man with 5 girlfriends who's afraid of large groups of women?" Kyubi chuckled at him. "Hey, it's only 4. Besides, you're the ones who got together after jumping me on separate occasions and decided that you would all be me girlfriends or else I'd die," he retorted. She sighed. "Well, we knew you wouldn't choose trying to be noble and not break anyone's heart. So we either share you or no one has you. Besides, how does me, Mary Jane, Urza, Kana and Lucy count as 4? I just met her," he yelled, standing up. "That's what you said about Kana," she replied in a sing-song voice. "Besides, we could use a blonde to make things more interesting. Come on, I got information that the slave ship is supposed to be somewhere by the docks." She then jumped on his back, wrapping her legs around him, and whispered into his ear, "After we're done, I have 2 words for you, ramen job." A yellow and red blur was seen speeding across town moments later. Nightfall finally arrived, with Natsu and Happy strolling through town after finishing off their big meal. "Ah, that was a good meal. When Naruto pays for the food, it always tastes better," stated Natsu while patting his stomach. "I," agreed Happy. The duo stood from the high point in town, looking down upon the docks and the sea. The sun had set and various lights illuminated the town. Happy noticed a ship floating in the middle of the harbor. "I wonder if that's the ship Salamander is having his party on," commented Happy, pointing at it. "Ooh, I don't feel so good." Natsu leaned down on the ground wobbly. "Don't get motion sickness imagining it," commented Happy. 2 girls standing a short distance away from them had a conversation that caught their attention. Look! Look! That's Salamander's ship." "Ah, I wanted to go to the party," declared the dark-haired girl. "Salamander? Who is that?" asked the blonde. "You don't know? He's a famous mage who's currently in town." "I heard he's from the famous guild Fairy Tail," replied the brunette. "Fairy Tail?" Natsu turned and looked down at the ship. Fairy Tail, the pink-haired mage, stared at the ship deep in thought. Lucy strolled up and down the top deck of the party ship in her stylish black dress and high heels. She mingled with the various partygoers, slightly put off by the fact that there was not a man in sight. "This place is a total chickfest. Maybe I should just get out of here. No. This may be my only chance to join Fairy Tail. Where's that Salamander? It's time to do some good schmoozing." She moved down to the main cabin and had a seat, hoping that Salamander would show up soon. A few seconds later the door opened and he entered. He strode into the room, oozing smugness. She barely kept herself from walking out. "This guy is almost too much. Come on, keep it together, Lucy. You only have to be nice to this moron for a little while longer." He poured out a couple of glasses of wine and handed one to her. "Lucy, is it? Such a beautiful name for a beautiful girl. Don't you have other girls to attend to?" she replied casually. "Nonsense. I would much rather have a drink with you. Let's have a toast." He snapped his finger and little droplets of wine rose into the air from her glass. Just open your mouth and pearls of wine will come in. She clenched her fists, barely keeping her composure. You are so annoying. Calm down. Just a little more patience. Then I kick him, that's it. She swatted the droplets of wine away, standing and leveling Salamander with a stern glare. What are you planning? A sleeping drug? I won't fall for such a trick. I want to join Fairy Tail, but I'll never stoop low enough to be with you. His countenance suddenly changed as a sinister look formed on his face. How did you figure it out? No matter, such a bad girl you are. It could have gone much more peacefully if you merely drank the wine. He snapped his fingers and several thugs emerged from hiding and grabbed a hold of Lucy. What the hell is going on here? Demanded Lucy, struggling to break free. He grabbed her by the chin and lifted her face up towards his. Welcome to our slave ship. I'll have to ask you to remain silent until we reach Bosco, miss. Bosco? What do you mean? What about Fairy Tail? She screamed at him. He dropped her face and took a step away from her. I told you this is a slave ship. You are nothing but merchandise. Give up, you belong to us now. It's such a great plan thought up by Salamander. Using the charm to lure girls to our ship, then they become merchandise. Seems this one isn't falling for it, so we'll have to resort to the methods, said one of the ugly thugs before giggling. Damn it. This can't be. How can they do this? Abusing magic this way, is this really Fairy Tail? Thought Lucy in anger. Suddenly Salamander slid his hand up her thigh and removed the keys hiding under her dress. A stellar spirit mage? Perhaps we can fetch a fair price for these later. Salamander tossed the keys over his shoulder to the other side of the room. Now to prepare for your branding. An excellent find, Salamander. We haven't had such a pretty one in a long time, commented one of the thugs as Salamander heated his branding iron. Looking at your face, I can see why. The group turned around to see a pair of purple-haired twin girls dressed in light blue kimonos. In a puff of smoke they revealed themselves to be Naruto and Kyubi. Kyubi continued, with faces like that it's obvious why you have to kidnap girls. You, declared Salamander, pointing an accusing finger at Naruto. Me? Asked Naruto, pointing at himself. Yes, you. You almost ruined me earlier today and now you crash my party. How dare you? Roared Salamander. Who the fuck is this guy? Questioned Naruto, scratching his head. A shiver suddenly ran up his spine. The only thing I remember happening earlier today was nearly getting caught by a mob of fangirls. One of the thugs snorted. This guy is a wuss. He's afraid of women. Not women, you idiot. Women are lovely creatures that can do wonderful things. His eyes gained a glazed look before suddenly a paranoid and wild look crossed his face. Fangirls are rabid howler monkeys with no sense of logic. It doesn't matter if you are a target or an innocent bystander, they cause pain. Nothing but horrible, horrible pain. Beware. Kyubi cut him off mid-rant by rubbing his whiskers. Don't mind him. He was traumatized by an ugly rabid fangirl during his childhood. She really did look like a pink howler monkey. For some reason the thugs and even Salamander hung their heads in a moment of pity for him. Naruto, declared Lucy in joy. This brought everyone's attention back to the situation at hand. Hey Lucy, greeted Naruto like she wasn't about to branded and molested by the men holding her. Idiot, muttered Kyubi. She swiped her hand out, and suddenly she was holding up Lucy. She looked over the well-dressed blonde girl with an appraising eye. I approve. She's a keeper, cheered Kyubi, rubbing her cheek against her. Approved for what? Questioned the now confused Lucy. Now's not the time for that, ranted Naruto. Ha! You didn't deny her this time, gloated Kyubi. Arg! Groaned Naruto, grabbing and pulling on his hair. Boss, these clowns should be no sweat for you, declared one of the thugs. Suddenly something crashed through the ceiling and landed right on top of Salamander. As Happy floated down through the hole, Naruto, Lucy and Kyubi watched the groaning form of Natsu in amusement. He scrambled to his feet, looming over Salamander. Hey, I don't feel so good, Natsu moaned, stumbling around like a drunk. The sight of Salamander sprawled out on the floor caught his attention, alleviating his sickness for the moment. Hey, you're the fake Igneel. I heard you said you were from Fairy Tail. Natsu seemed to stabilize himself before continuing. But I've never seen you around before, declared Natsu, flashing his Fairy Tail tattoo. He suddenly doubled over in front of Salamander, holding his gut, while his cheeks bulged. Oh, this is not good, folks, murmured Naruto. If he wasn't such a head, I'd almost feel sorry for him, added Lucy. Salamander could only look up in horror as Nasta barfed up half his entire meal on top of him. He fainted as the vomit was spewed onto his body. Oh, I feel a lot better now, stated Natsu while wiping his face. The thugs stared at him in disbelief while Naruto, Kyubi and Lucy could barely contain their laughter. He's a vomit dragon slayer, proclaimed Naruto as the trio erupted in laughter. Natsu glared at him and prepared a retort when suddenly the boat rocked and he doubled over in pain again. Happy, get Natsu out of here. Head back to the docks, ordered Naruto. Aye, sir. Happy saluted him as he swooped down to pick up his motion-sick friend before flying out the hole they just came in. The clones have cleared out all the girls. They are all safely back in town. What should I use for the cleanup? Naruto asked Kyubi. Kyubi shrugged. You're on a boat at sea, use Torrent. Torrent? Questioned Lucy. Oh, you haven't seen his magic yet. Get ready, it's a real treat. declared Kyubi with an excited gleam in her eye. The air around Naruto suddenly lifted up as he raised his arms in front of himself, channeling his magical power, Armor of the Torrent. Dao Shin, a blue light engulfed him momentarily, causing everyone to shield their eyes. After it died down, Naruto was decked out in a blue armor wielding a trident spear. He nodded towards Kyubi before jumping through the hole Happy just flew out of. Kyubi followed suit, bringing Lucy with her. Once outside the ship, Lucy and Kyubi saw Naruto standing on the crest of large wave that remained in place, looming behind the ship. Lucy held on for dear life as Kyubi speeded across the water out of harm's way. Naruto lifted his trident into the air and massive water dragon twice the size of the ship formed behind him from the wave. Watch now, this is a real fairy tale mage in action, stated Kyubi, and she and Lucy watched from a safe location. Naruto's eyes sharpened as the vomit-covered figure of Salamander staggered up to the edge of the ship. You've ruined everything. I'll get you for this. Slavery, practicing illegal magic, impersonating a fairy tale mage, just being an overall bastard. But you know what your biggest crime was? Nearly getting me captured by fangirls. I bet that vomit really reeks. How about a nice bath to wash it all away? Naruto swung the trident forward, launching his attack. No! Yelled Salamander, as he attempted to abandon ship, but it was too late. Water release, water dragon missile. The dragon shot forward, slamming into the ship. The water blast carried the ship across the water before smashing into the docks. As the attack finally subsided, the trio of Kyubi, Lucy, and an armored Naruto moved towards the docks to witness the results. The damage did not disappoint. The ship was nothing but splinters and stray planks of wood strewed across the port. The fake Salamander laid passed out in the middle of it all, his head covered by the remains of a toilet bowl. The thugs were washed up on top of the roofs of various nearby buildings. A bit overkill? Stammered Lucy in shock as she stepped away from Kyubi. Naruto snorted. It got the job done, that's all that matters. You destroyed half the port, she yelled in disbelief. Several of the surrounding buildings were knocked down, and a few appeared to be flooded. Naruto waved off her concerns. The council has tons of money, they can pay for repairs. This dock needed to be remodeled anyway. Lucy shook her head before reaching down for her keys, only to remember they were gone. Oh no! I lost my gate keys. That creep took them away back on the ship, she shouted in despair. A jingling sound rang out from behind her. She turned to see Kyubi holding up her key ring. No worries, I got it covered, stated the smiling redhead. Thank you? Thank you? Thank you? Repeated Lucy over and over again as she bear-hugged Kyubi. Natsu and Happy strolled up to the trio, the latter stunned by the amount of damage done by Naruto's attack. That was some attack, I've never seen him use that one before, stated the talking cat. This isn't so impressive, my fire dragon missile attack is much more powerful, haughtily stated the fire dragon slayer. You just stole the idea for that attack from mine, didn't you? Deadpan Naruto, no longer sporting his armor. All he did was switch it from water to fire, replied Happy in agreement. Mine is still better, bellowed Natsu, shaking his fist at them. What the hell is going on here? Yelled out a voice. The group turned to see the military charging through the destroyed port towards them. Ah fuck! It's 5-0. We gotta bail, yelled Naruto as Lucy looked back in shock. She suddenly felt herself lifted up and being carried bridal style. She looked up to see another Naruto with Kyubi riding on his back, following behind Natsu and Happy. Kyubi winked at her. Hey Naruto! Your new girlfriend wants to join Fairy Tail, declared Kyubi. Hey, we just met, exclaimed the blushing Lucy. So you want to join Fairy Tail? Then I guess you're stuck with us. Full speed ahead, guys, exclaimed the Naruto carrying her, as he shifted Lucy over his shoulder into a fireman carry and charged forward at blazing speeds. Hey! She exclaimed. I, declared Happy and Natsu as they tried to keep up. Welcome to Fairy Tail, now strap on your seatbelt, it's a wild ride. Wow, it's huge, uttered Lucy, sporting looks of wonder and amazement across her face as she looked upon the guild from the entrance. After dreaming so long of joining a guild, finally being at the door to her dream guild was almost overwhelming. The large complex possessed the visage of an ancient Arabian palace. She could hardly believe that she would soon be living so close to and working in such a magnificent place. Surprisingly, it's still standing, murmured Naruto as he opened the door. Kyubi overheard his snide remark and playfully smacked him on the shoulder. No thanks to us, she giggled. Welcome to Fairy Tail, declared Happy while he followed after Natsu, who rudely marched inside like he owned the place, leaving Lucy standing at the entrance still taking in the view. Happy's welcoming brought her back to her senses. Wait for me, pleaded Lucy as she scrambled to keep up. As soon as we find the old geezer, we'll get you signed up officially, Naruto told Lucy as she caught up. She nodded absent-mindedly as she surveyed the inside of the place. Fairy Tail was as busy as ever, with the waitresses moving around quickly to service their customers. Various groups of people sat around eating, drinking, and enjoying each other's company. Other mages stood near the job postings trying to find their next request to tackle. Hey Mirachan, 3 beers over here, shouted a seated mage in a strange hat. Coming right up, the beautiful silver-haired goddess replied from across the room as she dropped off drinks at another table. As she made her way across the room to serve him, a middle-aged man in a flowery shirt called out for her attention. "Mira-chan!" he cried out. "Yes, yes, what is it?" she replied, awaiting his order. The guy took a long puff of the cigarette in his mouth before removing it, and blowing out 3 hearts of smoke towards her, holding his hands over his chest. "Let's go on a date next time," he declared, batting his eyes at her. She sighed and shook her head in mild annoyance. "Always when he's not around." "Dude, you're in for it now," called out one of his companions, pointing behind him. He felt a massive assault of killing intent directed on himself, and feared that her boyfriend had caught him in the act. "Naruto! Buddy! I was just kidding," he stammered while he turned around to come face to face with someone far worse than Naruto, his irate wife. "Ah! Honey! Please, I was just kidding around. You know you're the only one for me," he pleaded to the portly elderly woman. "You jerk!" she screamed as she landed a slap that sent him flying across the room and into a wall. She proceeded to wave her finger at him in a scolding motion before vanishing in a puff of smoke to reveal Naruto grinning and giving the peace sign. Everyone at the table burst out into laughter. "Classic!" one of them yelled out. "Teach that bastard to hit on my woman," grumbled Naruto as he put an arm around Mary Jane. She shrugged it off before smacking him in the back of the head with the empty tray in her hand. "You idiot! Stop beating up my customers!" yelled Mary Jane. "Yeah, nice to see you too. Why can't you be as nice as when you're working here, all the time?" groaned the blonde as he rubbed his head. "What the hell is that supposed to mean?" she screamed at him. Their potential fight was interrupted by Natsu storming over to them, followed by the rest of the returning group. "We're home!" yelled Natsu. "Home!" chimed Happy while lifting his paw in a greeting fashion. "Mira, where is she?" asked Natsu. "Natsu, Happy, and Q welcome home. As for Lisana, her shift starts in a few minutes when mine ends," replied Mary Jane. "Good, I have time," he replied, shifting his attention to scanning the various members scattered about. The one he was looking for quickly made himself known. "Oi, Natsu! Naruto! You guys overdid it again. I read about the hair-join incident in the newspaper. The buck-toothed mage was cut off by a kick to the face courtesy of Natsu. Bastard! That info you gave me on Salamander was fake," roared the Fire Dragon Slayer. "Great, with these two back, the store is going to be torn apart again," moaned Mary Jane as the daily brawl started forming. "You used to be just as involved in tearing up this place before you started working in here," grumbled Naruto under his breath. "Mira, where is the master?" asked Kyubi. "He's out and about somewhere. He said something about business." "Why?" she replied. "We've got a new recruit. This is Lucy," responded Kyubi, introducing the blonde. As Mary Jane gave her look over, Kyubi winked at her, causing her to frown and turn her attention to her boyfriend. "You just had to go and get yourself another one, huh?" she demanded with a pointed look. "Another what?" the ever-clueless Naruto questioned. Her reply was a skeptical glance towards Lucy. The blonde quickly jumped into action to defuse the situation. "You know I don't make those kind of decisions anymore." He wrapped an arm around her from behind before leaning down and kissing the crook of her neck, causing her to moan. "And I must say, giving up that power was well worth it. Is that the Eastern chantel you're wearing? Makes you smell delicious. You wouldn't figure a guy who's afraid of women could pull off moves like that." Deadpanned a voice from behind him. Naruto turned to come face to face with, in his opinion, the biggest bastard in the guild. "Buzz off, Loki team. I only fear that trash you usually relish in, fangirls, the most vile creatures in existence. It takes the charm of a real woman to capture me, unlike some standard-less people I know," retorted Naruto. "I can't believe it. Both guys tied with for the top-ranked mage to have as your boyfriend. In the same guild that I'm about to join," drooled Lucy. "I demanded they print a retraction. In no way do I want to be associated with a loser like him." They both replied at the same time. The duo growled at each other when Loki made his move, thrusting the girls at his sides and front him towards Naruto. "These two will expose you for the coward you are," declared Loki. "Go, Loki-sama!" they cheered. Naruto instantly vanished from his position and reappeared behind Lucy. "You fool, you think I came here unprepared? Behold your greatest undoing, the sexy Stellar Spirit Mage," declared Naruto, pushing Lucy forward. At the word Stellar Spirit Mage, Loki quickly grabbed his girls and quickly walked away. "You'll have to do better than that. Let's go, ladies," he called over his shoulder. "You need to work on your sex appeal." "That should have worked," commented Naruto, scratching his chin. "What the hell were you trying to do?" demanded an irate Lucy. "So you have some spirit in you after all," commented Mary Jane. "Naruto has the insane idea that Loki is afraid of Stellar Spirit Mages because he is a Stellar Spirit. If a Stellar Spirit Mage was hot enough, I'd be rid of him once and for all." "Kyubi, help her with her sex appeal, then we will try again," ranted Naruto, only to slapped in the back of the head by the redhead. "Stop being a moron. Loki is not a Stellar Spirit," exclaimed Kyubi. A shout quickly interrupted their train of thought. "The Dragon Brothers are back? Nastu! Where are you, punk? We're settling our fight from last time," roared a dark-haired guy storming over to them from behind Lucy. "Gray, how long have you been walking around like that?" commented a brunette seated at the bar as he passed by. "Ah shit!" He looked down to find him only in his boxers. He promptly ignored his state of dress in pursuit of his fight as he stormed towards Natsu, who dismissed him immediately. "Come back after you're dressed," stated the pink-haired teen, shooing him away. "Another one of those undignified guys I can't stand," stated the girl at the bar before she picked up a barrel of alcohol and drank from it. Lucy stared at her in disbelief while she chugged down the whole thing before belching. Naruto saddled up beside her with his own barrel. "That's why you've got me, babe. Look at what I got from the South Port," declared the blonde, showing off the rare ale he commandeered. "Someone deserves a reward." She suddenly smashed her lips into his, instigating a passionate kiss. She suddenly broke it off after getting her hands on Naruto's barrel while he was distracted. "Ah, come to mama," she whispered while lifted it up to take a sip. Naruto sighed. "Sometimes I wonder if she loves me as much as booze." "Most days it's a coin flip," snickered Mary Jane. "It shouldn't be, considering the alternatives," retorted Naruto, pointed his thumb towards the bickering Gray and Naruto. "I swear your sister is some kind of saint to put up with him." "I guess that makes us goddesses, huh?" responded Kyubi, caused Mera to laugh. "Hey!" shouted Naruto. "What rubbish! Have you no pride as men?" A deep voice called out to Natsu and Gray. Lucy turned to face the imposing figure of Elfman, frowning down upon the squabble that broke out. "Yapping in the middle of day like little children. Men should fight with fists," Elfman declared. "It comes down to fighting after all," uttered Lucy as she shook her head at the continuing idiocy. "No one asked you," roared Gray and Natsu as they launched him across the room. Naruto looked up at a clock and jumped up with excitement. "Mary, your shift is over." Finally through with dealing with so many annoying bastards, the beginning of her rant was silenced as Naruto grabbed her by the shoulders and started kissing her. Lucy stared at them stunned as the previously bickering duo entered a passionate make-out session, oblivious to the world around them. "Sheesh, you think they could wait till they got back home and let me join?" stated Kyubi offhandedly. Lucy face planted at this statement. "Is anyone here normal?" she moaned. "Don't be too shocked by all this. It pretty much counts as a typical day around here," stated Kyubi before a stray flying chair leg smacked her in the head. "Shouldn't someone stop them?" asked Lucy, looking at the grinning Kitsune as if she were insane. "No way. It's much more fun this way," declared Kyubi. Suddenly Naruto paused in his ministrations with Mirajane and stared out into center of the room where the brawl raged on. "I think I've figured out why Gray is always picking fights with Natsu," declared Naruto. "Because they're fire and ice mages?" retorted an irritated Mirajane, miffed at his stopping. "No, Natsu was the first person to do that to him," he said, pointed towards Natsu, who now stood chuckling while holding up Gray's boxers as the naked teen flew across the room and crashed next to Lucy. As he scrambled to his feet, everyone got a good look at little Gray. "Wow, no wonder he's mad," giggled Kyubi. "Don't turn this way," exclaimed Lucy as she covered her eyes. "Hey, could you lend me some underwear?" Gray asked Lucy. "No way," yelled a pissed-off Lucy. "Men should fight with fists," roared Elfman from the middle of the brawl. A punch courtesy of Natsu sent him flying again. "Get out of our way," roared Natsu. As the intensity of the brawl picked, a chair flew out of the center and nailed Kana's barrel, spilling the contents. "That's it. No one ruins my drink, especially when it comes from Naruto," screamed Kana, jumping to her feet and lifting one of her cards over her head as she prepared to enter the fray. "I've had it," declared Gray as he powered his ice magic. "Nuh!" roared Elfman as he started to transform. "What a troublesome bunch," murmured Loki, joining the fight as his ring pulsed with power. "Come and get me," proclaimed Natsu, his arms shrouded with flames. "Magic!" screamed Lucy in shock as the fight escalated to a new level. "This is getting a little intense," moaned Kyubi as she started massaging her left breast. "Yeah, it is. What are you doing?" exclaimed Lucy, her eyes nearly popping out of her skull. "Look at them," replied Kyubi. Naruto and Mera were now on top of a table, letting out moans and groans. Naruto's shirt was gone and his hands were inside Mirajane's dress as the make-out session progressed a step further. Between the huge brawl and sex that was about to break out in front her, Lucy's brain seemed to overload. Thankfully for her, someone quickly restored order. A sharp whistle rang out front. He entranced to the guild. "Are you guys really planning on trashing this place right as my shift starts?" questioned a deceptively sweet voice. The sudden feeling of death looming all over them betrayed the sweet visage of Lysana smiling at them while pouting. Sensing the possible impending doom, Elfman headed off his sister. "No way, sis. We were just joking around, right guys? All in good fun," he declared. "Yeah, all fun," everyone chorused as the feeling suddenly went away as she reached behind her and pushed forward a tall cart full of baked goods. "Good. Look everyone, I brought treats," she replied. "Awesome," exclaimed Natsu as he charged forward with Happy and nearly toppled over both Lysana and the cart. The short white-haired girl giggled as Happy glomped her. "Why don't you bring me treats?" whined Naruto as put his shirt back on and rearranged his clothes. "You'd prefer those treats to these?" questioned Mirajane as she adjusted herself in her dress. "Good point, but perhaps we could combine the two," suggested Naruto. A look of wonder appeared on her face at the idea. "They aren't all winners, but when actually you do have a good thought, it's dead on. Declared Kyubi. "Yeah, hey," responded Naruto. "Never mind that. Let's go get some good stuff to use before it's all gone." said Mira Jane as grabbed Naruto as rushed towards her sister where Natsu was already stuffing his face full of pastries. Lucy and Kyubi followed behind them quickly. As she reached the cart, Lucy spotted a particularly scrumptious-looking cinnamon roll on the top shelf. She grabbed it quickly before moving over to the side away from everyone and taking a bite. This is delicious, moaned Lucy as she savored the taste. Alright, who ate the last cinnamon roll? A booming voice roared. Lucy turned in fear to face a towering dark and demonic figure. He's humongous, thought Lucy. Natsu! Yelled Naruto, causing the huge figure to step on the pink-haired mage and stop his assault on the sweets. He then turned his eyes to Lucy. Moo? A newcomer? He asked. Why yes, stammered Lucy. She looked upon him in shock as he suddenly grunted while shrinking down to a much smaller size and revealing himself to be Makarov. I'm Master Makarov. Nice to meet you. He waved at her before jumping up towards the ceiling. He hit his head before landing on the rail of the second floor. As he scrambled to his feet, he pulled out a thick stack of papers and waved it at them. You've done it again, fools. Look at these documents I received from the council, he said before pulling them up close to his face and starting to read. First is Gray, stated Makarov. Huh? Questioned Gray. Nice job sweeping out that smuggling organization, but you walked around naked in town afterward. You then ran away after stealing some underwear that was drying, stated Makarov. But wouldn't it be worse if I was naked? He questioned. Then don't be naked in the first place, replied Elfman. Makarov continued. Elfman, you had a mission to escort a VIP and assaulted him during the mission. Elfman scratched the back of his head. Well, he said, men are all about education, so don't be a moron, exclaimed Mira Jane, smacking him in the back of the head. Makarov started reading again. Loki, you flirted with council member Elder Reiji's granddaughter. A certain talent agency charged us for damage compensation too. She came on to me, he murmured, too low for anyone to hear. Kana Alberona, drinking 15 large barrels of alcohol and charging it to the council, stated Makarov. They found out, she whispered as a bead of sweat dripped down her face. Kyubi and Mirjane, you both put grandsons of council members Koiji and Ramura in the hospital for 2 weeks, exclaimed Makarov. Bastard should keep his hands to himself. They growled simultaneously. He continued reading. Natsu, you succeeded in destroying the Devon thief family, but also destroyed 7 other houses belonging to townspeople. You leveled a clock tower in Tuli village, burned down a church in Frisia, damaged parts of Lupanus Castle, and caused the Nizuna Ravine Observatory to collapse and cease operations. Makarov paused to clear his throat before continuing. Naruto, you saved the South Port's fleet of cargo ships by wiping out the Buckhead pirates, but you also destroyed half the cargo in the process. You also cleaned out the Red City Opium Gang while blowing up several buildings in the market district. This on top of inciting half a dozen riots, leveling Horigen's port, and stealing from the council armory and wine cellar. Naruto and Natsu jumped up and raised their hands in the air in a celebratory fashion. Take that, suckers, we're still number 1. The duo yelled. Mary Jane and Lysana promptly smacked each of them in the back of the head. Don't be proud of it, idiots, muttered Kyubi, shaking her head. Those two had the most of anyone by far, thought Lucy in shock. Guys, the council members are angry and bitching at me all the time. But suddenly the list in his hands went up in flames. Fuck em, eh? Uttered a confused Lucy. The master tossed the flaming list to the side where Natsu jumped up and caught it in his mouth like a dog. Listen up, the power to overcome reasoning is born from reasoning. Magic is not a miracle. When the spirit flow within us and the spirit flow in nature connects, they will form an embodiment for the first time. You will need a strong mentality and concentration for that. I mean, pouring all your soul into whatever you do is magic. If you keep worrying about the higher-ups cracking down on you, your magic won't improve. Do not fear the fools of the council. Do what you think is right. This is the way of fairy tale mages. The whole guild broke out into laughter and smiles at his proclamation. The next couple of hours passed by quickly for Lucy as she officially became a member of the guild. She was having dinner with Naruto and Natsu while waiting for Lysana to come back and give her a member stamp. So you were called Salamander in that other town, Natsu? Asked Lucy. Right, replied Happy. She found it a fitting nickname. Well, I guess that description does fit your magic well. If Natsu is the salamander, I want to be the catmander, declared Happy. What's up with the mander thing? She questioned Naruto, confused. I know he's more like a Meowth, replied her fellow blonde. A what? She asked, even more confused. Never mind. He shook his head to clear the random thought. So are you a water mage, Naruto? Lucy asked. Nope. Want to know the real secret behind my magic? Naruto asked. Lucy leaned forward eagerly. Yeah. What is it? Naruto leaned forward and whispered into her ear. It's a secret. Lucy pouted at his non-response. Stop teasing her, Naruto, said Lysana as she approached with a stamp and bowl of ink in her hand. You want it here? Asked Lysana, pointing to her hand. Yes, replied Lucy. There. Now you are a part of Fairy Tail, complimented Lysana as she finished the mark on Lucy's hand. Ah. Hey, look you guys. She gave me the mark of Fairy Tail. As she showed her mark to Naruto and Natsu, the duo looked up from their meal before returning it to it just as quick. Good for you, Luigi, deadpanned Natsu before taking a bite out of a flaming chicken leg. It's Lucy! Screamed Lucy in outrage. That does nothing for your sex appeal, stated Naruto dismissively before slurping down some more ramen. Pig! Yelled Lucy. You're nuts, Naruto! Yelled one of the guys at their table. Yeah, I'd do anything to have a babe like that on my team, added another. Finished with his food, Nasta stood up and left the table along with Happy. Where you guys going? Questioned Naruto. To get a job I need money, replied Natsu. You should teach Happy how to do payday, suggested Naruto. What? Questioned Natsu. Forget that. Naruto shook his head to again clear away that random thought. You should do some training. Then you wouldn't still be stuck on the little boy board. Have fun on those baby jobs, teased Naruto as he jumped up to the second floor. Bastard. He could just take me along. Whatever, I don't need him, proclaimed Natsu as he started checking out the board. Happy pointed to one near the top of the board. Look, here's one with a good reward. 160000 jewels for exterminating thieves? Alright, stated Natsu as he pumped his fist. Baby mission. Naruto's voice rang out from above. Old man, let me go to the next floor, demanded Natsu. Not happening. Take that mission, see if you can exercise some restraint this time, replied Makarov. A small black-haired child wearing a t-shirt portraying a smiling sun approached the counter where Makarov sat smoking his pipe. Is my daddy back yet? He asked Makarov. The old man sighed before responding, You're annoying, Romeo. If you are the son of a mage, you should have more faith in your father, be a good boy, and wait for him at home. Romeo looked up at Makarov on the verge of tears. He said he'd be back in 3 days, but it's been a week since then. Mikau's job is at Mount Hakob, right? That's not too far from here, stated a nearby mage. Please look for him. I'm worried about him, pleaded Romeo. No way. Your dad is a mage. We have no mage here who can't take care of himself. Go home and drink your milk or something, retorted Makarov. Romeo clenched his fists as the tears pooled in his eyes before jumping up and punching the master in the face. Idiot. He then stomped away, rubbing his eyes to hold back from crying. It's pretty strict around here, isn't it? Questioned Lucy as she observed the scene. Master may say that, but he's worried about Mikau too, replied Lisana. Over by the request board, Natsu, who had overheard everything, slammed the request in his hand back into the request board, making a dent in it before storming away and dragging Happy along with him. Hey! Natsu! Don't break the request board! The guy in front of the board scolded him. Eh? Questioned a confused Lucy, puzzled by Natsu's change in demeanor. Master, I bet Natsu is going to go do something bad, stated the guy in front of the board. I bet he's going to go help Mikau. Dumb kid, doing that will only hurt Mikau's pride. Makarov bit down on his pipe before continuing. No one can decide what he should do, leave him alone. Suddenly Naruto jumped down from the second floor holding 2 separate missions in his hands. Damn straight you should leave him alone. He is a follower of the first rule of the ninja, stated the blonde. His cheerful mood turned completely serious. First rule of the ninja? Questioned Lucy. Those who break the rules are scum, started Naruto. But those who abandons their comrades are worse than scum. Finished Lisana. How many times has that little lion saved people's lives, especially mine that time? A wise policy indeed, stated the master. Oh, before I forget, he handed Lisana the paper in his left hand. Mira and your bro should enjoy that one. You're not supposed to take more than 1 mission off the board. In fact, I put a charm on it preventing such a thing, said Makarov. I took 1 and he took 1. Naruto replied, pointing up to a clone on the second floor who was waving at them. Well played, responded Makarov. Naruto scribbled down a note before handing it to Lisana. Pass this along to Kyu-chan when she comes back. Stop using Lisana as your secretary, yelled the returning Mira Jane, now decked out in her battle gear. Yeah, mumbled Naruto as left to follow after Natsu. Hey blonde girl. What are you still doing here? Go after the idiots, roared Mira. But stammered out a stunned Lucy, not knowing what she did to upset her. Lisana quickly took control of the situation. What Nei-chan meant to say was, with Naruto and Natsu together, well, you've heard the list Master read earlier. On their own, they are pretty rowdy. Together, Lisana almost shivered at the thought. I get the picture. But I don't have time yet, I need to find a place to live, replied Lucy. There are open spaces at the boys' apartment building and few in the girls' dorm. They're both right next to our house, so you can come visit once you guys get back. Mira Jane's house. Wow. I can't wait, exclaimed Lucy as she jumped up and hurried after them. Mira Jane snickered at how easily her sister manipulated the girl. You're even worse than Kyubi now. Lisana adopted an innocent look. I'm just kind soul trying to help out. Sighed Lucy as she looked out the carriage window. I can't wait to visit Mira Jane's house once we return. Naruto snored in his sleep across from her while Natsu lied down groaning from his motion sickness. Yeah, real danger these two are. Wonder why he's got that heavy coat, though Lucy as she observed the duo. Natsu was still wearing the same clothes, but Naruto now sported a heavy trench coat over his outfit. The carriage soon came to a halt, and her fellow passengers suddenly sprung into action in a surprising fashion. When Natsu opened the carriage back door, Lucy nearly froze to death on the spot after being hit by a blast of the icy cold wind. "We can't go any further from here," stated the carriage driver. "Even though we're up in the mountains, it's summertime. It's not normal to have a snowstorm like this," exclaimed a shivering Lucy. "It's to be expected," stated Naruto. "It's too cold," stammered Lucy with chattering teeth. "It's 'cause you're not wearing much," stated Natsu. "Neither are you," screamed Lucy in response. "Yes, but his magic keeps him warm. You're not so lucky here." Naruto draped his trench coat over her shoulders. "Thanks, but what about you?" questioned Lucy. Right as she said this, another Naruto appeared to the original before transforming into another coat. "Gotta love Kagebushin!" exclaimed Naruto as he put it on. "Alright, I'm heading back to town now," stated the carriage driver as it turned around and went back. "Wait! How are we supposed to get back?" shrieked Lucy as she chased after him. "She's really noisy," stated Natsu. "I," agreed Happy. Naruto shrugged. "No, much more than any other girl." Natsu nodded in agreement. "This is also true." "I," agreed Happy. "I heard that," yelled Lucy. Naruto stuck his pinky finger in his ear. "They also have bat-like hearing." Natsu nodded again in a sage-like manner. "Right again." "I," agreed Happy. "Useless idiots," grumbled Lucy as she retrieved one of her gate keys. Oh, a penth door of the clock. Horologium. The key sparked with a flash of light as a large clock being was summoned in the snow. "Whoa! It's a clock!" exclaimed Natsu. "Woohoo! Magic!" deadpanned Naruto. Lucy climbed inside as the clock closed, protecting her from the cold. "I'll stay here," she says, stated the clock. "Why did you come here?" questioned Natsu. "I was promised a chance to visit Mirajane's house and help finding an apartment," she says, replied the clock. Naruto shrugged. "Whatever?" The trio turned to walk away only to be stopped by the clock. "Wait," she says. "What job did Mikao-san come here for?" said the clock. Naruto shook his head. "You didn't know and still came?" "He came to subdue the brutal monster, Balkan, and his partner the Soul Eater, Guki," supplied Natsu. A wave of panic flashed through Lucy. "I want to go home," she says, stated the clock as Naruto, Natsu, and Happy turned to walk away. "Bye," replied Naruto waving over his shoulder. "Yes, go ahead," says I, responded Natsu. "I," agreed Happy. After traveling deeper into the snowstorm, the group halted. Natsu scrambled around the area shouting into the howling winds of the storm. "Mikao! Where are you? Where you done in by the beasts?" shouted Natsu. Naruto snorted. If he was done in, he wouldn't be able to respond. The sound of rocks falling from higher up the mountain caught their attention, and the trio looked up. A huge shadow loomed overhead, that quickly revealed itself to be a giant ape beast leaping down at them. The creature attacked Natsu with its front paws, only for the dragon slayer to dodge the attack swiftly. "It's Balkan!" exclaimed Happy. "So where's his uglier half?" questioned Naruto. Balkan suddenly leaped away from Natsu towards the clock containing Lucy. Tot had followed them. "Oh! A human woman!" exclaimed Balkan as it licked the clock. Roared Balkan as he grabbed the entire clock creature and fled with Lucy still inside. "Ooh!" murmured Natsu in disbelief. His flame aura then sprung up around him as he cracked his knuckles. "So he can talk, huh? We can make him tell us where Mikao is," declared Happy. "And then we destroy him." "Evil howler monkey!" roared Naruto as he pointed his shaking finger towards the retreating beast with a deranged look on his face. "How did it become like this?" screamed Lucy from within the clock. "And why is this monkey so hyper?" After picking her up, Balkan traveled back up the mountain before stopping in an enclosed area and slamming the clock down in the center. The beast started dancing around it in a circle. "Yucho ho ho! Yucho ho ho!" chanted the monkey as he continued to dance around the clock. "I wonder if this where the monkey lives." "And what happened to Natsu and Naruto?" pondered Lucy as she placed her face against the glass of the clock. Balkan suddenly placed his face against the other side, startling her. "Woman!" Balkan murmured in a husky voice. Suddenly there was a strange sound before the clock vanished, leaving Lucy at the mercy of Balkan. "Time's up." "Farewell," said the clock. "Hold on. Extension. I need an extension," pleaded Lucy. She shivered in fear as the monkey leaned over her and stuck his face right in front of hers. "Yeah. I found you," rang out Natsu's voice as he entered the area. "Natsu! I'm saved!" cheered Lucy. "Where is Mikao?" "Whoa!" roared Natsu as he slipped on the icy ground and tumbled in a rock column in front of Lucy. Lucy sighed at his ridiculousness. "I guess beggars can't be choosers." "Hey monkey! Where is Mikao?" demanded Natsu. "Yo-ho!" replied the monkey. "You understand what I'm saying? I'm talking about a man, a human man," stated Natsu. "A man?" replied the monkey, scratching his head. "That's right." "Where did you hide him?" demanded Natsu again. "UWH. You think he hid Mikao-san?" uttered a shocked Lucy. "Wait. Is Mikao-san still even alive?" The monkey suddenly grinned and beckoned Natsu over to him, where started Natsu only to be picked up and thrown off the side of the mountain. "Natsu!" shrieked Lucy. He better survive that, you stupid monkey. A mysterious voice called out from the shadows, "You can take pleasure in that disgusting woman all you want after I've eaten my fill. The tasty souls of her companions should do fine. It's been a while since I've seen souls with such potency. About time you showed your face, Cookie. Figures that without your previous organization's protection you two would be hiding up in the mountains to avoid hunters," remarked Naruto as he revealed himself and leaped down from the ceiling. The blonde face-down Cookie who leaned against the far wall. "Naruto! You've got to help Natsu!" exclaimed Lucy. "Don't worry, Happy has it covered," replied Naruto. "You fairy tale punks are all the same, weaklings. The idiot Mikao was worse than you three," mocked Cookie. "Where's Mikao?" demanded Naruto. "Couldn't eat trash like that, so I put him to work." "He's around here somewhere, you'll have to find him yourself," retorted a smirking Cookie. "I have no problem beating it out of you, armor of hard rock." Dao Gi. After the bright flash of orange light died down revealing Naruto in his hard rock armor, the blonde warrior stabbed his Ningata into the ground before leaping forward and launching a punch that Cookie leaned to the left to dodge. Naruto's fist sunk into the side of the mountain, shaking the entire area. The attack had served Naruto's main purpose, getting the upcoming messy fight away from his comrades. "Be careful, you fool. If you cause an avalanche you'll bury us all," roared Cookie. "I'll ask you one more time, where is Mikao?" demanded Naruto, ignoring Cookie's concerns. Fool Cookie suddenly unleashed his full power as he transformed into a humongous beast with horns protruding from his forehead, darkened skin, and enlarged fangs on his bottom teeth. He charged Naruto trying to land a haymaker with his left, only for his fist to be caught. He swung around with his right only for Naruto to catch that one as well. The two entered a standoff, grasping each other's hands, trying to push each other backwards with neither budging an inch. "Do you really think you can overpower me?" roared Cookie. "Easily. But I have to hold back until you give up Mikao's whereabouts," thought Naruto as he slowly started pushing the beast backwards. The rumbling from Naruto's initial attack on Cookie nearly knocked Lucy off her feet, but the tough girl maintained her balance before staring down her kidnapper. "Well, then that leaves me to crush this perverted monkey." Lucy whipped out another key to summon a new stellar spirit, open a door to the Golden Bull Palace Taurus. "Muh!" roared the summoned beast as he emerged. "Lucy-san, your boobs are more amazing than ever." Lucy face-palmed. "I forgot that he's a pervert as well." "Yuicho! Back away from my woman," declared Balkan. "My woman?" questioned the bull. "That is a most unforgivable remark." "All right, go Taurus," cheered Lucy. "You should have said my boobs instead of my woman," continued Taurus. "That's not right," screamed Lucy as she covered her chest. "I used up a lot of magic on Holorogium earlier. I don't know how much magic power I've got left for Taurus, but I just need to buy some time until Natsu returns," thought Lucy as she clenched her fist. "Taurus! Go! I'm more than ready!" roared the axe-wielding bull as he charged the monkey. "Yuicho!" roared Balkan as he moved to meet the charge head-on. Suddenly Natsu's voice rang out. "You think you can get rid of me that easily?" The pink-haired dragon slayer emerged from where Balkan chucked him through the side of the wall and off the mountain. He suddenly charged in, delivering powerful kicks to both Balkan and Taurus. "Geez! How many monsters are there?" roared Natsu. "No more for me," whimpered Taurus as he hit the ground. "You weakling!" Lucy screamed, and the bull before turning to Natsu. "And you, how the hell did you get back here so easily?" "Happy," replied Natsu, pointed behind her. "You're welcome," said Happy as he hovered overhead. "Oh, I forgot you had wings." "Wait a minute, you can't deal with transportation, but you can deal with Happy?" questioned a puzzled Lucy. Natsu looked at her like she'd grown a second head. "What are you talking about? Happy isn't a vehicle, he's a nakama." "You're weird." "Right, I'm sorry," replied a sweat-dropping Lucy. "He of people is calling me weird? Listen up. All of Fairy Tail's members are nakama. From that old fart, Lisana Urza Mira." "Natsu! He's coming!" warned Lucy as the monkey charged Natsu. He continued speaking as if unaware. Then the annoying gray and elfman he went on. "I get it, Natsu. Watch your back," warned Lucy as the monkey got closer. To Happy, Naruto, and Lucy. "We are all nakama." Natsu back flipped and kicked the charging monkey in the chin with a flame-covered foot. "I am taking Mikao home," roared Natsu as Balkan slammed into the icy ground face first. "Tell me where Mikao is or I will burn you black like charcoal," threatened Natsu. The enraged monkey scrambled to its feet with its face still smoking from the last attack. It reached up and started pulling down icicles from the ceiling and chucking them at Natsu rapidly. The slayer stood there and laughed as the assault did no damage, the ice melting on contact with his body. "That won't work on fire," laughed Natsu. Balkan then noticed Taurus' spear stuck in the ground and picked it up. The monkey charged Natsu, swinging the axe wildly, forcing the slayer into evasive maneuvers, as he barely dodged some of the attacks. Natsu caught one of the vicious swings in front of his face and entered a battle of strength with the monkey pushing down with all its strength and Natsu holding the axe at bay. Lucy attempted to wake up her summoned spirit in order for him to dispel and the axe to vanish, but a sizzling sound interrupted her attempts to awake the bull. Where Natsu gripped the axe, his flame magic heated it so hot, the metal on the blade melted. Natsu caught a glob of the hot metal in his mouth before chewing on it and spitting it out. The projectile nailed Balkan in the forehead, startling the beast. "Here I come," declared Natsu, bringing back his flame-covered right hand before launching forward with devastating blow, Salamander's iron fist. Lucy and Happy cheered as the attack launched the beast into the wall, knocking him out cold with his body still smoking. "He's stuck!" exclaimed Happy. Lucy let out a sigh. "Wait a minute, don't we still need him to find out where Mikau is?" Natsu growled as he kicked an imaginary stone. "Crap. I forgot. Now he's passed out completely," said Lucy. Suddenly strange sounds from the monkey's body caught their attention. "What's going on?" exclaimed a panicking Natsu. There was a large poof of smoke as the body revealed itself to Mikau. "I see, he was taken over by Balkan," shouted Happy. "Taken over?" questioned a confused Lucy. "A magic used to take over the body," clarified Happy. "Oh no!" exclaimed Natsu as he leaped up to catch Mikau as he fell through the hole created by his attack. Happy flew up and grabbed Natsu as he fell through, who was in turn grabbed by Lucy. The strain seemed too heavy for the girl, but she was quickly aided by the now conscious Taurus, who helped pull everyone up to safety. Out of the corner of his eye, Naruto witnessed Mikau's transformation and decided enough was enough. "I guess there is no reason to keep you around anymore." Naruto jumped back and picked up his staff, twirling it in his hand before leveling it at Guki. Faster than the beast could react, Naruto delivering a strike with his weapon to the neck followed by a blow to the gut. As Guki doubled over in pain, Naruto clubbed him in the face with his Ningata, sending him crashing into a wall before sliding down to the base of it. Barely conscious, the beast gasped for breath as he scrambled to his feet, using the wall as support. As he looked up into the cold blue eyes of his opponent for the first time, he felt true fear. "No wonder you had to leech of the souls of others for so long. You truly are weak. I'd pity you if you actually had a soul of your own." Naruto started to gather magical energy as he lifted his Ningata over his head and started twirling it around. "Iron Rock Crusher!" roared Naruto as he swung his weapon downwards, releasing a massive wave of magical energy that destroyed everything in its path. The attack nailed the beaten monster head on, blasting through the wall behind him. "Aya!" screamed Guki as the attack tore his body apart. As the blast died out, there was nothing left of the beast. A rumbling sound soon caught Naruto's attention, and he remembered Guki's earlier warning about causing an avalanche. He released his armor as he rushed back to his companions with a smirk on his face. "Natsu! Fresh powder!" shouted Naruto. Minutes later, Lucy's shrieks could be heard as Naruto carrying Lucy, Happy, and Natsu carrying Mikau blazed down the side of the mountain in Kagebushin snowboards. The Duke of Everless bestsellers. "I can't believe I received such a great deal on this place," exclaimed a giggling Lucy as she splashed the water in her bathtub. After returning from rescuing Mikau, Lisana helped her find this nice new apartment in the middle of town. Across the street formed the apartment building Naruto, Kyubi, and Natsu lived in. While Natsu lived in a place quite similar to her own, she was slightly jealous of the luxurious apartment Naruto and Kyubi lived in. It was as if they took a section of Mirajane's house and dropped it on the top floor of the building. Although if it wasn't for Mirajane and the other girls, Naruto would probably live somewhere similar to Natsu, she reasoned to herself. "If only I could afford a place like that." Lucy sighed as she finished washing her hair. "Though this place is nice too." As she exited the bath, Lucy wrapped one towel around her body, before picking up another to dry her hair. "Though it normally costs 70,000 jewels, I got it for 62,500 thanks to Lisana. The spacious rooms, storage places, pure white walls, scent of woods, little old-fashioned fireplace, and lovely cooking stove make this a real steal." Lucy danced through her apartment still clothed in only a towel as she praised its attributes. "And here is the best part," began Lucy, only to stop in shock as she entered her room to find Naruto on her couch with Kyubi laying across his lap giving her a very sensual massage. Naruto waved at her with one hand, before continuing the ministrations on his red-haired girlfriend. "What the hell are you doing here?" screamed a now enraged Lucy as she picked up a large book from out of nowhere and nailed Naruto in the side of the head with it. This caught Kyubi's attention as she jumped up quickly to placate the angered blonde girl. "Easy. Lisana and Mira told us about your new place across the street, so we decided to visit, but we got bored waiting for you to come out to shower." As Naruto rubbed the back of his head, he now observed Lucy thoroughly, eyeballing her from head to toe. "I must say the whole dripping wet and towel thing, definitely good for the sex appeal," declared Naruto, giving her two thumbs up with a perverted grin. "You pig!" exclaimed Lucy with flames in her eyes as she delivered a kick of righteous female fury to his face, inadvertently flashing him as the bottom of her towel nearly came undone. She proceeded to stomp on his face while he tried to get a better look until Kyubi pulled her off Naruto. Somewhere in alternate universes afterlife, Jiraiya felt a spontaneous compulsion to shout, "Way to go, brat!" The redhead hugged the blonde girl from behind and cupped her chest through the towel. Kyubi whispered in her ear with a husky voice, "You know, we were considering christening this place if you took any longer in the bath, but since it is your place it would only be fair if you joined in on it." Lucy's face turned red from both anger and embarrassment. "Not you too!" she screamed while throwing both them out of her room and slamming the door so she could get dressed. "She's way too fun to rile up. Next time let's pretend like we're actually doing it when she comes out." proclaimed Naruto from the spot he landed on the floor as Kyubi giggled in agreement. No way in hell! Screamed Lucy as the door briefly opened for another book to nail Naruto in the head. Lucy sat slouched in a wooden chair in her kitchen with an annoyed look on her face. Trespassers, criminals, you guys lack morals, grumbled the blonde. After dressing herself in a black t-shirt and some blue capri pants, she served her intruders a cup of tea and was now trying to get them to leave. It wasn't working. Naruto stuck his tongue out at her. That's not very nice. You're being mean, added a pouting Kyubi. I'm the one who's been violated here, yelled an even more annoyed Lucy. Well, we could still do that in a good way, suggested Kyubi. No way, screamed Lucy in outrage. She couldn't figure which one of the two was worse at this point. Naruto grabbed a random stack papers that was sitting on her desk and started reading them. Hey, this is interesting. Lucy, recognizing them as her written work, snatched them away and held them tight to her chest while giving Naruto accusing glare. That's none of your business. Naruto shrugged it off. What? I was just curious. If you're just going to bug me, go home already, complained Lucy. Kyubi let out a gasp, pretending to be affronted. How rude. We came to visit you. I just moved and I don't even have furniture yet. Just go home, there is nothing to do here, pleaded Lucy. The couple gave her a blank stare before Kyubi stuck her finger in the air as she remembered something. Oh, that reminds me. Mira Jane likes to keep her house up to the latest furniture and accessories, so she gets new style every season. Lisa usually just donates the old stuff to charity. But since you just moved, Kyubi whipped out a scroll and dragged her finger across the seal, opening it. Several boxes and pieces of furniture popped out. Mira Jane's furniture. Lucy drooled at the sight before turning and bowing to Kyubi like she was an almighty god. Thank you. Thank you? Thank you? Well, you could do us a favor, replied Kyubi nonchalantly, as she pretended to inspect her fingernails. Now realizing she had been set up, Lucy gave them a suspicious look. What kind of favor? She replied in a wary tone. Just as she said this, Natsu barged into her apartment, followed shortly by Lisa and Happy. We got the maid outfit. Is she ready to go or what? Questioned the pink-haired mage rudely. Lucy just stared at them in disbelief. Maid outfit. Lisa smacked Natsu in the back of the head. That was rude. You were supposed to knock. Lisa scolded him before turning to Lucy. I picked out the outfit. You're going to love it. It's so cute. Lucy continued staring at them in disbelief. Maid outfit. Kyubi coughed to gain her attention. Well, there's a job out there we could use your help with, sheepishly supplied Kyubi as she passed the job posting over to Lucy. Lucy read the posting, first seeing the highlighted warning that the Duke of Everloo is a big pervert and womanizer, but then getting excited at the 200,000 jewel reward. She then saw the note detailing he was looking to hire a blonde maid and realized exactly why they wanted her. It's easy, you've got blonde hair, you can sneak in. Then we can get the book, declared Natsu. The only reason you came to me is because I have blonde hair. Planning this from the beginning? How cruel! Exclaimed Lucy in an overdramatic fashion. I told you she wouldn't do it. Just let me use the Oryoku no Jutsu, declared Naruto, slamming his fist on the table. Kyubi then slammed his head face first into the kitchen table, putting an end to that line of thinking. That technique is forbidden. Oh, I should inform you that job sheet is a bit out of date. The reward was bumped up to 2 million, informed Lisa. Dollar signs suddenly appeared her eyes as she started to drool. 2 million. Why didn't you say so earlier? Seeing this strategy was working much better, Naruto reeled her in even more. Oh, and you'll only be working Kyubi. Natsu and I will be working on a different job in the same area. So you'll get half the cut. In blur, Lucy appeared at her front door prepared to work. What are you losers waiting for? Let's go, she ordered. Natsu forked over a couple bills to Naruto. I've been telling you for years, Natsu, with women money talks. A book sailed from out of nowhere, and nailed him in the head again. That girl must be part bat, grumbled Naruto as he rubbed the bump forming on his head. Back at the guild, Levi stood in front of the job board with her hands on her hips, slightly disappointed. Oh man, someone took that 200,000 job at the Duke of Everloo's mansion already. Yeah, Kyubi is apparently teaming up with Lucy for that job, informed Mira Jane as she cleaned off a nearby table. Levi sighed in frustration. Too bad, that looked like easy money. Levi, it's probably best that you didn't take that job, suggested Makarov. Levi looked up in surprise. Guild master, that job just became even more troublesome. I just got in touch with the client, started Makarov. The job was cancelled? Questioned Mira Jane, interrupting him. No, a sly grin formed on Makarov's face as he continued in a playful tone. The reward was upgraded to 2 million jewels or so, I was told. Immediately everyone jumped up in shock. 10 times more. 2 million for one lousy book. As the entire guild buzzed with energy over this new piece of information, Gray sat off to the side chuckling while smoking his cigarette. 2 million, huh? Sounds like I'm missing out on an interesting mission, surmised the black-haired mage. I assure you the one we've got lined up is much more interesting, commented a deep baritone voice from behind him. He turned to see Elfman and Naruto standing behind him and smirking. Common, Natsu's waiting outside for us, said Naruto as he and Elfman turned and walked towards the exit. You could have picked a better fourth, grumbled Gray as he stood up and put out his cigarette. I could tell Urza which pair of morons nearly destroyed her favorite restaurant last week when she gets back. retorted Naruto. Gray suddenly paled. Or we could tell my sister who put the hole in her pantry wall during her last party, suggested Elfman. Touché, replied a now white as a sheet Gray. As Makarov watched the trio exit and meet up with Natsu and Happy outside the building, he let loose a long sigh. This going to be a nightmare. What's the matter? Asked Mary Jane. Between Gray, your brother, your boyfriend, and Natsu on the same mission, Makarov suddenly looked up at her with tears in his eyes. I'll be buried in paperwork by the council for weeks. Lucy let out a peaceful sigh as she stared out the window while the small wooden carriage moved along the dirt road through the green grass and short trees of the countryside. She almost couldn't believe that she was about to embark on her first official job as a member of a guild. This is a really easy job, right? Not too much trouble at all? Lucy asked her red-haired traveling companion. QB raised her eyebrow at the question as a small smirk appeared on her face. You didn't seem too keen on helping out until you found out what the reward was. Well, this is my first official job. I want to make a good impression. I'll do my best, exclaimed Lucy as she pumped her fist in the air. Just sneak in and get the book, then get out, right? The reward wouldn't be for 2 million if it was really that simple. I should warn you that this mission is a lot more dangerous than it appears. The Duke of Everloo is not merely a perverted old man. He's involved in organized crime, which means we'll have to fight our way out at some point, replied QB. Lucy paled a little at the last part of her statement. Fight our way out. QB dismissed her worries. Don't worry too much. I can handle whatever thugs he's trudged up. You just make sure the perverted old fart takes the bait. Lucy officially entered panic mode. I'm just the bait. Couldn't we have brought Lisanna along? She does shape-shifting magic. She could be the bait. QB suddenly gained a solemn look as she answered. She doesn't really do missions anymore. Why not? Something happened to her? Questioned Lucy with a touch of concern in her voice. The redhead shrugged. Not my place to tell, but let's just say there was an incident, and leave it at that. Besides, I am perfectly capable handling things if you get caught. Wait, I haven't seen you do any magic yet. What type of mage are you? Asked a now intrigued Lucy. Technically I'm not a mage, you'll see soon enough, replied QB, causing Lucy to frown in disappointment. Then something suddenly dawned on her. Hey, if we're going to the same place, why didn't those guys come with us? Questioned the blonde. It's a short way, and Naruto didn't want to pay extra if Natsu puked on the seats. Deadpan QB. Why did we decide to travel on foot? Exclaimed Gray in frustration as the 4 mages and Cat climbed a steep hill on the way to Shirotsum town. The ice mage lagged behind the group, breathing heavily. He definitely regretted not taking the carriage now. Real men have stamina, proclaimed Elfman from up ahead. Yet another reason why Gray is still a virgin, added Naruto condescendingly. Natsu roared with laughter, pointing his finger at Gray. I don't know what you're laughing for, punk. There's no way an idiot like you's gotten laid. You wouldn't know what to do, shot back the dark-haired mage. At this statement, Naruto, Natsu, Happy and Elfman collapsed to the ground with raucous laughter. Oh man, that's hilarious. No really knows who writes Ika Ika, roared Elfman. I told you, greatest prank ever pulled, replied Naruto, shaking his finger at him in an I told you so manner. Everyone still thinks it's you, exclaimed Natsu and rolled on the ground, banging his fist. Gray stared at them like they were all insane. After arriving in town, Lucy and QB quickly made their way to the luxurious home of their client. This mansion is spectacular, exclaimed Lucy. Well, if you're going to pay 2 million to retrieve a book, you must be loaded, responded QB offhandedly as she knocked on the door. May I have your name, please? A voice asked from inside. Yeah, we're from Mage Guild Fairy, started QB, only to be cut off by the voice. Shush. Please be quiet, commanded the voice, causing QB to huff. Could you come around and enter through the back door, please? After moving around to the rear entrance, the duo was welcomed in by the client and his wife. I'm sorry about earlier. I'm the client Kirby Mellon, and this is my wife, greeted Kirby. It's no problem, replied QB. They all took a seat and got right down to business. There is only one thing I am asking you to do. The one and only copy of Daybreak the Duke of Everloo owns. I want you to destroy it, declared Kirby. So we're not stealing it? Questioned Lucy. I am asking you to destroy someone's possession without their permission. You might as well call it stealing, answered Kirby evasively. I was expecting you to ask us to retrieve the book he took from you, stated QB. No, I do not wish to have it. I cannot forgive the existence of that book, said Kirby. Well, thank you for your time. We'll get on it right away, stated QB as she and Lucy exited. What did he mean by that? Can't forgive its existence, thought Lucy as they left. Do you think it was wise to trust such a job to those girls? Asked Kirby's wife. He let out a deep sigh. The other guild that tried last week failed. The Duke dismissed it as nothing more than a failed robbery. She continued. I know he started only to be cut off. There is no doubt security has been tightened, so getting into the mansion will be even more difficult. She finished. I know that, but Kirby leaned over and sighed again as he started to tear up. That book must be removed from this world. Are you sure that information was accurate? Everything here looks completely normal, stated Gray as he peered through his binoculars. The team set up shop at the edge of the forest that bordered the complex for the Duke of Everloo's mansion. The Duke of Everloo is nothing more than a crook. He uses his position as a nobleman to cover up the fact that he's the main money launderer for the Black Creek Club. They're one of the top crime syndicates out there. They were behind that incident, informed Naruto. A scowl immediately formed on Natsu's face. The Black Creek Club, murmured the pink-haired mage. Elfman picked up on his change in mood and mirrored it. That's right, bro, it's those bastards, sneered Elfman. Naruto continued giving out background information. The midget bastard has been using this job posting as a means of turning a profit by having his associates gamble on the battles between the mages and his guards. Naturally, he pissed off a couple guilds with his little scheme, and the higher-ups sent him some new bodyguards. Who? Asked Gray. The mercenary demon squad known as the Four Saint Beasts, replied Elfman. I heard of them. They're a ruthless bunch of assholes by reputation, stated Gray. They're also damn good, since that reputation is all anyone has on them. None names, aliases, or skills have been found on them since no one has survived a fight with them, supplied an annoyed Naruto. So, how are we going to do this? Asked Natsu. Well, each beast is guarding a safe. In one of those safes is our target, his ledger. We are supposed to be working in tandem with the girls, using their entry into the mansion looking for that book as a diversion for us to sneak in and steal the ledger, said Naruto in a nonchalant manner. That's no fun, pouted Natsu. I said that's we're supposed to do. We're actually doing this the fun way, stated Naruto with a grin that was soon mirrored by his comrades. Bust down the door to get their attention, and everybody gets one, responded Elfman in more of a statement than a question. Naruto nodded in agreement. I drew up a makeshift map of the place based on the scouting by my clones. We used Janken to decide who goes where. At the main gates of the mansion complex the next day, Lucy and Kyubi stood patiently waiting for someone to come answer their call. Lucy wore her maid outfit, while Kyubi was dressed in a black and white pinstripe professional outfit holding a clipboard. Hello? Is anyone here? We're here from the Ika maid agency regarding your ad, called out Kyubi again. Suddenly the ground rumbled and bubbled up next to them before opening as a giant obese woman in a way too small maid outfit emerged and landed in front of them. Who are you? The maid demanded in a threatening manner. Kyubi stuck her hand forward in a greeting fashion. I'm Risa Lake for Ika maid agency, and this is one of our contract maids, Maria, here to apply for your blonde-haired mage position. The maid just stared at her outstretched hand before turning her head back towards the hole she just came from. Master, did somebody say Ika? Called out a voice from the tunnel just made by the giant maid. Seconds later a round form shot through the tunnel and landed while doing a silly dance. Boo-yun! I heard it. Someone said Ika, exclaimed the Duke of Everloo. He's here, stammered Lucy in shock of seeing the hideous man in person. Kyubi could barely maintain a straight face as she looked at the guy, almost bursting out in laughter. This guy is ridiculous. You are correct, sir. As I said before, I am Risa Lake from the Ika maid agency. Kyubi retrieved a fake business card from her clipboard and handed it to the man. I didn't know you guys had a maid agency. I would have started using it long ago, replied the Duke wistfully. Well, the truth is we only cater to the most exclusive clients. With your recent increase in wealth and status, one of your business associates recommended you would be interested, and after seeing your posted ad we decided to offer our services, stated Kyubi. That's fantastic, exclaimed the Duke. Kyubi pulled Lucy in front of her in a presenting fashion. Today I brought with me one of our top trained maids, Maria. She fits the sexy blonde maid description you were looking for. The Duke then gave Lucy a look over from head to toe. He's giving me the creeps. Just hang in there a little longer, thought a nervous Lucy. Rejected. This one is too ugly, bring me another, stated the Duke in a dismissive fashion as he waved her off. Lucy nearly fainted in shock. Sir, Maria is our top-ranked blonde maid. She's received raved reviews from all our other clients, pleaded Kyubi. Not good enough. Suddenly 5 more of his maids appear. All were some of the most hideous women on the planet. Kyubi almost retched at the sight of them. I only go for the sexy ladies like these. Yo-yo perversely giggled the Duke with a cheesy grin. Oh master! Exclaimed the maids with hearts in their eyes. Kyubi only nodded before grabbing a completely frozen in shock Lucy and hauling ass out of there before she puked. Back inside his mansion the Duke of Everloo sat comfortably in a large chair smoking a cigar. 3 shadowed figures loomed behind him, one wearing a hooded cloak. Sir, it looks like the mages have breached the perimeter, commented the cloaked figure. The Duke spun around in his seat to face the empty back wall of the room as he twisted his mustache. Excellent. Now the games will really be interesting. Connect us with today's players. As you wish. The hooded figure twisted the staff in his hand as he cast the spell, Igardus Portus. 4 beams of lightning shot out from his staff, each illuminating a quarter of the wall like a projection screen. On each section of the wall the projection of 4 men seated in chairs appeared, with the 4th's face hidden by shadow. Welcome, gentlemen. As you can see, a group of mages has once again taken up the job of retrieving that little book from me. Last time our fun was cut short as either of the mages made it past my initial defense wave. However, we've got better competition this time. These girls came from Fairy Tale, proclaimed the Duke. Fairy Tale mages are supposedly halfway decent, should be interesting, stated the man on the far left. I've read of those fools, they're just as liable to blow up half your complex than to complete the job. This is easy money. Sneered the man next to him. What happened to Miroku? Questioned the third man. Yes, our former associate nobleman Miroku met with an untimely accident, and will no longer be joining us. Informed the Duke. The old fool got caught in his office with his secretary by his wife. She beat the crap out of him, took his money, and ran off with the secretary, commented the shadowed man. Well informed as always. Our new player, famous author those little orange books, Akira rose. The shadows cleared, revealing a slightly effeminate red-haired man, dressed in an elegant red suit. Akira rose, stammered the man on the far left. The author of Aika Aika? Questioned the one next to Akira. Pleased to make your acquaintances. As a show of gratitude for accepting me into your little game, I've sent you all an autographed pre-released copy of my next book. I do hope to find some inspiration from today in future gatherings. Stated Akira. You've really outdone yourself this time, Duke. Commented the second man. Save you gratitude for after I've taken all your money. Now the Duke was cut off by a ruckus explosion. Captain, what's happening? Roared the Duke. Sir, we have more intruders. This seems to be a separate group who have busted down the rear wall of the complex. Answered the cloaked man. Well, have you and your men manned their positions? No doubt this was the strike you were sent here to prevent. Gentlemen, it looks like the games have gotten even more interesting. Now who wants to start the bets? Lucy and QB had just sneaked into the mansion via a second-floor window, when the explosion hit. What the hell just happened? Screamed Lucy as she fell to the floor. Those morons ditched the plan. Said a sighing QB. She was looking forward to actually having some fun this time. Let's go, only weaklings stand in our way now. Lucy didn't respond, she merely pointed over QB's shoulder with a look of panic. The redhead turned to face the entire contingent of the Duke's maids, led by their enormous leader. Intruders! Bellowed the lead giant maid. QB's hands suddenly shapeshifted into claws as she charged the hideous creatures with a battle cry, Die ugly bitches! Lucy could only watch in shock as there was a red blur for a few seconds and then QB sitting on top of a pile of unconscious maids. What are you staring at? Let's go! Ordered QB as she hopped off the pile. I bet the next ones are even weaker. Lucy could only nod absent-mindedly as she followed, still in shock. The Natsu and company walked forward through the rear courtyard of the complex with a pile of unconscious low-level thugs behind them, and behind that a demolished rear wall of the complex. Sorry guys, I figured those thugs would have been a better warm-up. Apologized Naruto. They just don't make low-level thugs like they used to. Complained Elfman. Ain't that the truth? Added Natsu. Aye. Agreed Happy. Well, I guess we should split up from here. Stated Naruto. Meet up at the front door when we're done. Asked Gray. Where else? Answered a shrugging Naruto. With that they all took off in separate directions. Lucy and QB managed to work their way to the Duke's library without further interruption. The two were now searching through his collection of books for Daybreak. That Duke of Everloom may look stupid, but he has a good collection of books. Commented Lucy as she placed the book back on the shelf. QB snorted from her spot across the room. Sure, that's why this entire wall over here seems to be devoted to smut. Well, these over here seem to be good. If he reads these books, I'll respect him a little bit. Said Lucy as she put a romance novel back on the shelf. Searching through all these is going to be a pain in the ass. Whined QB as she looked at the towering shelves they'd yet to search. Hopefully we'll get Luke. Hey, I found it. Daybreak by Kimazalian. Exclaimed Lucy holding up a golden book. Good. Burn it, and we can bail before this place is burned to the ground. Ordered QB. No way. I want to read it. I'm a big fan of Kimazalian. He's a mage as well as an author. This must be one of his unpublished works. Shouted Lucy. Who cares? Our job is to burn it. Reminded QB. Lucy stared at her horrified. This book is a cultural heritage. We can't burn it. If we don't do the job, we don't get paid. The 2 million, remember? Stated a slightly irritated QB as she tapped her foot impatiently. This startled Lucy, but only momentarily. We can burn another book and say it was this one. I can't read the book if we destroy it. Smoke rolled into the room as one of the doors slammed open, revealing 2 shadowed figures. You hear that, brother? She wants to keep the book. Stated the shorter one. We could always bury her with it, but Mama always says not to leave any evidence behind. Replied the taller one. QB immediately recognized them as a pair of mercenaries as he stepped into the light. The vanished brothers from the Southern Wolves Mercenary Guild? Is this the best he can do? Questioned QB in a bored tone. The little girls from Fairy Tail don't seem so impressed. Commented the taller brother. Little girl? QB's eye twitched in annoyance. Lucy, you have until I'm finished with these clowns to read that book. Thank you? Squealed Lucy as she hurried off into another room to read. Looks like your companion abandoned you. Stated the bald brother. That's actually worse for you. You see, without her around I can really cut loose. The evil gleam in her eye and spike of killing intent froze the brothers in their tracks. Lucy had just whipped out her wind-reading glasses to speed red when the shouts and screams of horror from the Venture brothers forced her to pick up and move to a room further away. Note to self, do not anger QB. Murmured Lucy as she scrambled away. The Duke was mildly annoyed by the performance of his mercenaries, but he was confident on making up his losses on the next round of betting. See if I hire anyone from that guild again, he silently seethed. Ha! Everly, you're losing money on those girls, gloated one of the gamblers. Who cares about the little bitches? The real money is on the mysterious intruders about to take on the 4 Saint Beasts, exclaimed the Duke. Impressive. 4-on-1 gives them a good shot to actually win a few, stated an intrigued Akira. Alright, so the bet is how many beasts do you think they can defeat? Proclaimed the Duke. 250,000 on only one, 750,000 on two, 600,000 on none, 5 million on all 4, stated an eerily calm Akira. Whoa! Looks like the rookie is out of his element here. Yeah. With that bet alone, he'll double your fortune, Duke, or wipe me out, thought a slightly nervous Duke. But this is the Saint Beasts. They can't be beaten. I'm guaranteed to make out ahead. Looks like I'll be rolling in your dough soon enough, Akira. The fact that the intruders will lose is sure thing, proclaimed the Duke. If I've learned one thing from my forays in romance, it's that there is no such thing as a sure thing, replied Akira. Except this, mocked one of the other gamblers. Elfman was sure he lucked into the most annoying opponent of the 4 beasts. His opponent, Genbu, was composed entirely of stone and possessed the ability to merge with stone, and unluckily for Elfman, the entire room they were fighting in was made of stone. This is like a shitty version of whack-a-mole, complained Elfman as Genbu sunk back into the ground again. It didn't matter where he hid, Elfman could always sniff him out. Annoyed with Genbu's popping in and out of everywhere, Elfman decided to end it quickly. I'm going to smash you into rubble. Let's go. Beast arm, Iron Bull, roared Elfman as his arm transformed into metal. Genbu tried to re-emerge from the ceiling right above Elfman and strike with his tail, but Elfman was waiting for him and jumped straight up. Gotcha! Bellowed Elfman as he connected with an uppercut straight to Genbu's face, shattered the stone beast into smaller pieces. That was way too easy, complained Elfman as he stared at the pile of stones that was once Genbu. Do you really think this is over? Genbu's voice called out. Suddenly the stones raised into the air, shifting around until Genbu was reformed. Your blows are nothing to me. I'll regenerate from even the strongest attacks. Genbu suddenly thrusted his arms forward, with them dissolving into smaller stones and shooting at Elfman. Elfman shielded himself from the onslaught with his mental arm, before charging towards Genbu, who sunk back into the ground. Watching the path of the stones still above ground, Elfman guessed the spot Genbu would emerge from next and hammered the stone beast again, causing his body to fall apart. Fool! Your attacks are nothing, roared Genbu voice as instead of reforming he shot the stone parts of his body at Elfman again. As the pieces flew at him, Elfman noticed one stone in the middle of them all glowing red and grabbed it before moving to the other side of the room as Genbu reformed. As he turned back, Elfman started roaring with laughter. Looks like this piece was important after all, he mocked. Huh? What did you do? Bellowed Genbu as he suddenly realized his head was where his crotch was supposed to be. I wonder what will happen if I do this, questioned Elfman as he crushed the stone in his hand. No, Genbu suddenly exploded, reduced to nothing but a pile of stone dust. That was way too easy, complained Elfman as he reverted his transformation. I would take his powers if they weren't so lame. Ah, there it is. A floor safe. Elfman leaned over the safe in the floor, contemplating how to get to what was inside without destroying it. As Natsu and Happy descended the steps of the passageway leading to their destination, it finally came to an end at a cavernous area lighted by torches. Only the area closest to the stairs was illuminated, with the rest pitch black. Right as the duo set foot into the cavern, loud roars could be heard, causing rocks to shake loose in the cavern. The pink-haired mage and his cat companion traveled forward as if there was nothing wrong. Natsu engulfed his fist with flames to light up the nearby area as the two moved along through the cavern. So what do you think our beast is going to be? Happy asked his partner. Natsu shrugged. Who knows? I just hope it's strong. They soon approached an illuminated opening in the distance. When they reached the opening, they found it lead to a large room lit up by both lights and torches. Unlike the rough floor of the cavern, the room had stone tiles for flooring. The place took on the feeling of some sort of battle arena. The roaring they kept hearing was now almost deafening as it originated from the back of the room. It suddenly stopped as the roaring beast emerged from the shadows, revealing himself to be a humanoid saber-toothed tiger. His two bottom canine teeth were so large they reached up to his cheeks. His fur was light blue, with gray claw markings around his body and face. He also had yellow eyes with black pupils and olive-green hair, with a mane flowing down his back. He sported a toga with animal skin leg warmers, and a red sash belt. Hey! It's a really big cat! Exclaimed Natsu in surprise. Pitiful weaklings! Growled the beast in disgust. Prepare yourselves, it's been a while since I've had a good meal. Oh, and he talks just like you! Stammered Natsu in shock. Aye, but he's kind of mean. Maybe he hasn't had any good fish. Hey! Maybe we could him to Naruto so he can have a cat companion! Exclaimed Happy. Yeah! Then they could go on adventures like us! Replied Natsu with a strange gleam in his eye. The two quickly delved in the senseless chatter about the types of adventures Naruto could go on with the talking tiger. The beast growled at their idiocy. This is what they send me. Bayako, the white tiger, the great predator of the same beasts, reduced to fighting an idiot teenager and his pet. This is the best hunt I can get, bellowed Bayako in rage as Natsu and Happy continued their daydreaming unaware. These fools aren't even worth my time, complained the snorting white tiger. The giant battle cat plucked a few hairs from his mane before infusing them with some of his power and tossing them forward. From the hairs 4 small tiger-like green beasts formed, all growling and snarling at Natsu and Happy. Beasts go! Commanded Bayako. The creatures charged the duo, forcing Natsu to take action. Happy sprouted wings and flew up above to give Natsu some space. The pink-haired mage engulfed his hands in flame as the beasts approached. He dodged the first beast's attempt to chomp his head off before blocking the second swipe with its claws. The third leaped in an attempt to pounce on him, but he disengaged with the second and rolled out of the way into the path of the fourth one, charging him head-on. Salamander's iron fist. The flame-enhanced punch nailed the beast in the face, and its smoking corpse landed at the feet of its creator. As one of the other beasts attacked him from behind, his left foot suddenly ignited on fire, as he leaned to the left to dodge. Salamander's claw. The flame-powered roundhouse kick cut right through beast's side like a hot knife through butter. Both halves of the beast became engulfed in flame before burning to ash. Bayako was impressed by the nearly effortless disposal of 2 of his creations. It looks like they sent some decent prey after all. Don't get too cocky, boy. The beasts are an extension of myself and feed of my energy. That was only a small portion. Right as he said this, the remaining 2 beasts moved back in front of Natsu and glowed red as Bayako fed them more energy. The 2 beasts doubled in both size and ferocity. Bring it on, kittens! Mocked Natsu. The beasts charged him, attempting to claw his face off. He dodged several strikes from beasts, with a few close calls. Eventually one of the beasts leaped at him again in an attempt to pounce. He ducked as it went overhead, before reaching up and grabbing its tail. Igniting his arms with flame to boost his strength, he swung the first beast by its tail into the second beast. Both creatures slammed into the wall roughly as Natsu leaped high into the air facing them. Salamander's wing attack. Natsu launched 2 streams of fire from his ignited hands, incinerating both of the monsters. Happy then latched onto his back and pulled him out of the way of some energy darts launched by Bayako. Frustrated by the loss of his beast, the giant tiger let loose another earth-shaking roar, causing Natsu to plug his ears. Foolish human! I'll rip you apart and eat you myself! Bayako lifted up his fists, charging energy in the middle of his fingers, and launched again at his now aerial prey. Thanks to some fancy flying from Happy, they dodged the attacks unscathed and darted towards Bayako. Natsu leaped from Happy's grasp, delivering a flame-enhanced kick that Bayako blocked. Natsu slashed him across the chest, tearing off a part of Bayako's toga. The white tiger grabbed Natsu by the leg and flung him into the wall. Natsu slammed up against it violently before sliding down to floor. Your puny attacks won't hurt me, boy. It's time to take things up a notch. Bayako clasped his hands around his throat, unleashing scream-powered energy blast. Natsu scrambled out of the way to dodge it as it impacted the ground, leaving a huge crater, as everything the attack touched turned to ash. Ha ha! My tiger scream destroys anything it touches. Eventually you'll have nowhere left to run, bellowed Bayako as he unleashed another volley of attacks. I could use some fire right about now, grumbled Natsu as he dodged the next wave of attacks. Hearing his partner, Happy scanned the room for something that could be useful. Spotting the large portion of Bayako's toga still sitting on the ground, he flew over and grabbed one of the torches, illuminating the room before dropping it on the toga, igniting it. Natsu! Cried out Happy to alert him. You rock, Happy! Called out Natsu as he rushed towards the flame-dodging blasts all along the way. Picking up his meal togo, he continued to dodge blasts while devouring the flames. Spicy! Exclaimed Natsu as he completed his meal and shrouded his body in flames. He noticed the amount of ash that collected around the room from Bayako errant attacks. Naruto ran towards Bayako before dropping into a slide, kicking up ash in the air to obscure Bayako's vision as he sailed by. What is this? Roared Bayako as he was blinded. Your scream's weak. They should be more like this. Salamander's roar. Natsu popped up right in front of Bayako, unleashing his massive breath of fire at point-blank range. As the flame died out, all that remained was the charred skeleton of Bayako. A little too well done, observed Natsu. Aye, agreed Happy. Now, where is that safe? Questioned Natsu as he ignited his hands with fire. When Gray reached the target room, he found the door marked by a blue dragon insignia. Gray opened the door to surprisingly find himself in a large vacant room shrouded with thick fog. This fog is laced with magical energy, observed Gray as he scanned around. How delightful that one of you managed to make it this far. Echoed an ominous voice that seemed to come from everywhere in the fog. Cut the spook voice crap and show yourself, retorted an irritated Gray. As you wish. The voice echoed back. White lightning crackled in front of Gray, followed by a flash of white light that blinded him momentarily. When he regained his vision, most of the fog had dissipated, and a towering thin figure stood across him. The figure possessed pale green skin, black facial hair, and a dark blue cap covered his hair. He wore a blue martial arts robe tied at the waist by a large white strap and featuring the image of a blue dragon wrapping around his shoulder. I, Sire the Blue Dragon, will have the pleasure of executing the last of you intruders, he declared. Gray started laughing in response. The last? We all split up so we could each get our own fight. At this, Saryu formed an evil smirk. Fool! Together you may have stood a chance at defeating one of us. Individually you've sealed your fate. He roared as he glowed with energy, and some of the thick fog returned to the room. Saryu crouched and brought his fist backwards, channeling his power into it. Ice Dragon. Saryu thrust his glowing fist forward, unleashing his attack. Gray leaped to his left to dodge the attack as a portion of the ground where he just stood froze. You're not so special. Freeze! Gray cast his spell at Saryu, forcing him to leap to the right as a section of the wall behind him froze. Such weak attack power. My Ice Dragon technique is far superior, mocked Saryu. Gray nearly fell flat on his face. You idiot! It's the same attack, exclaimed Gray in annoyance. Shaking his head at his opponent's idiocy, Gray cast another spell. Ice Make, Hammer! A large ice hammer formed above the head of Saryu and slammed down towards him. He reacted quickly, coating his right fist in ice before swinging upwards with his punch striking in the center of the face of the hammer. Ice Dragon Fist. The hammer of ice shattered on impact into two small shards of ice that hovered in the air momentarily before gathering around the left fist and right foot of Saryu. His extremities now coated with ice, he charged after Gray. Gray countered the charge by casting a spell to keep his opponent at a distance. Ice Make, Shield. Gray stood firm behind his shield of ice that formed about 20 feet in front of him as Saryu approached, and leaped at him with a kick. Ice Dragon Claw. The ice-covered leg of Saryu broke through Gray's shield with little resistance, and nailed him right shoulder. Saryu followed with an uppercut using his other ice-covered limb that nailed Gray in the chin, and sent him flying into the wall. Gray groaned as he slammed into the wall, before sliding down to the floor. He grimaced while rubbing his sore jaw before spitting out some blood. Damn it, this bastard fights like Natsu. He must be a slayer. I need to change my approach, thought Gray as he rubbed his shoulder, that luckily was not dislocated by the last attack. Saryu observed his downed opponent in a condescending manner, slightly disappointed Gray was not proving to be a decent fight. Do you see how futile this battle is? A weakling ice mage like yourself is no match for the power of the Ice Dragon, sneered Saryu. Don't get too cocky. I know girls who hit harder than you, mocked Gray in response. Now replaying the battle in his head, Gray noticed something off with Saryu's style of fighting, so he decided to test the theory. Ice Make, Floor. Gray slammed his hands onto floor, covering half of it with a thick layer of ice. Saryu now looked down, puzzled by this spell. All it did was cover the floor on his half of the room in ice. Fool, you're only wasting your energy. Don't worry, I'll make your end swift, stated Saryu, his tone laced with arrogance and superiority. He crouched and drew his fist back with the fog swirling around him as he prepared another attack. As he did this, Gray formed a bow made of ice in his right hand. You've already lost this fight, stated Gray calmly. Fool! I'll show you no mercy. Ice Dragon, roared Saryu, his voice laced with contempt from Gray's statement. Gray swiftly dodged the attack by leaping forward and to the left. He countered with his own attack, forming 4 ice arrows. Ice Make, Arrows. Gray fired the 4 arrows in rapid section, forcing Saryu to dodge. However, the dark-haired demon misjudged his landing and slipped on the icy floor created by Gray earlier. One of Gray's arrows landed true, piercing right through his left leg. As he struggled to remove the arrow from his leg, Saryu was unprepared for Gray's final attack. Ice Make, Lance. A large ice lance shot forward from Gray, impaling Saryu through the chest and into the rear wall. How, gasped Saryu as he coughed up blood violently. You're an insult to both slayers and ice mages. Nothing more than a thug with a lot of energy trying to get by on half your lessons. A real slayer would have consumed the ice I layered the floor with and definitely not have slipped on it. A real master of ice techniques would have more than 2 moves. Be gone. At this, Saryu screamed before dying and vanishing in a bright flash of magical energy. The room suddenly contorted and shifted before reforming as a normal hallway with a door at the end. Gray opened the door to find himself in the Duke's master bedroom. He immediately moved over to the safe and got to work on getting it open. Naruto easily reached his location, a short tower shooting up from the south side of the mansion. As he climbed inside, the window open, Hao found himself in S. How unfortunate for you, for of all the choices you ended up facing me, Suzaku, the leader of the Saint Beasts, stated Suzaku as he removed his cloak. Yes, how unfortunate, replied Naruto with a grin, excited at getting the leader for his fight. Ah, an eager warrior, very well, I will grant you a worthy final battle, replied Suzaku as he sensed his excitement. I suppose it would be too much for you to stand aside and let me have the safe, commented Naruto nonchalantly. Why should I? Soon the other Saint Beasts will have defeated your companions, and the game will be over, responded Suzaku. Suzaku's look of confidence soon morphed to confusion as Naruto continued staring him down, now sporting a smirk. You'd do well not to underestimate the mages of fairy tale. The Naruto facing him vanished in a column of smoke, forcing Suzaku to react quickly to dodge a Naruto bearing down on him with the Rasengan from behind. He grabbed and threw Naruto towards the ceiling, who fired off the failed attack from his hand. The Rasengan bore through the ceiling before exploding, creating a massive opening to the outside. Naruto somersaulted in midair before landing on his feet across from Suzaku once again. The brief demonstration of abilities gained Suzaku's interest. I must say that attack of yours is quite powerful, almost as strong as the legendary blast created by your armors. If you could actually manage to hit me with one, you might stand a chance. Rather than being frustrated by the missed attack, Naruto was impressed. There's no doubt about it now, this guy is definitely the leader. His natural reaction time is incredible. This should be an incredible battle. I must say I love what you've done with the ceiling. That little skylight really brightens up the place. Thunder echoed and lightning flashed above them in the cloudy sky as Suzaku lifted his left arm into the air, palm up. Suddenly a massive surge of yellow lightning hit him, collecting in his hand. If this anything like the Chidori, I should be able to block it easily, stated a calm Naruto as he quickly formed a Rasengan in his hand to counter. Are you ready? Roared Suzaku as he brought his arm covered in yellow sparking energy backwards and charged Naruto. Storm of Torment. Suzaku thrust his attack forward as he reached Naruto, who countered with a Rasengan that successfully diverted the attack momentarily before Suzaku shifted his aim away from Naruto into what appeared to be a missed attack. Naruto smirked as he thrust forward with his Rasengan, only for his body freeze up as bolts of electricity coursed through him, from head to toe. His body writhed in pain as he cried out before collapsing to the ground on one knee. The panting Naruto looked up to face his smirking opponent, completely befuddled at the sequence of events. I could have sworn he missed me, thought Naruto as he tried to recover. He remained still and started to wiggle his fingers to regain the lost feeling and wait for the numbness in his body to subside. Suzaku continued to look down upon Naruto with the same smug look, the tone of superiority in his voice never wavering. I bet you're wondering how my attack succeeded even though you managed to avoid contact. You'll find that the energy will seek you out like lightning to a rod. He's lightning natures, his affinity must be the reason for his incredible speed and reaction time. I only have one option, even I can't afford to take another attack like that, thought Naruto. The blonde-haired demon raised his hand into the air again to prepare another attack. You should take pride in being the first person ever to survive my technique. However, you won't be able to withstand another. That's it, keep talking you fool, thought Naruto as he regained more feeling in his limbs. Considering you're a coward who hides in the shadows, I find that believable. Suzaku frowned in irritation and his tone changed to one of annoyance. We saint beasts are no cowards. We are demon warriors of the highest caliber. Yeah, that's exactly why no one knows of your skills and identities. You only fight weaklings who won't live to tell the tale of your exploits. That's exactly why I'm going to destroy you, retorted Naruto. Are all guild mages this stupid? Warriors much more talented that you have fallen at my feet, because of their sheer stupidity. All bark and no bite. What makes you think you are any different? Yelled Suzaku. You're the fool. Why, you've been blabbering about. I've gained enough time to turn this fight in my favor. Your strength is now my strength, armor of the halo. Dao Ray. Green light mixed with sparks of lightning enveloped Naruto as the lighting element green armor formed over his body. When the light died down, Naruto appeared in a crouched stance wielding an odachi. I can't believe I made such a foolish mistake. No matter, even with your armor you are still no match for me, declared Suzaku. Naruto didn't respond. Instead he sheathed his blade behind his back, before suddenly vanishing from view. As Suzaku scanned around, Naruto appeared in front of him, landing a punch to the solar plexus too fast for Suzaku to block. As the demon staggered backwards, Naruto moved behind him and swept his feet out from beneath him, before reappearing in front of him and kicking him straight up in the air. As Suzaku flew up, Naruto reappeared above him upside down and nailed him with a vertical kick across the back, sending him crashing into the ground. As Naruto landed, he observed Suzaku struggling to reach his feet. The true power of your armor is quite terrifying. Its lightning nature has your speed up your reflexes and given you a tremendous boost in raw speed. As I am now, I would not be able to keep up with you over the long haul. However, I have just the technique for this. Suzaku suddenly crouched with his left leg angled backwards. He held his hands clasped with his index fingers outstretched and touching together in front of his face. Red energy flickered into existence at the tip of his fingers before engulfing his whole body. The blonde-haired demon chuckled as his body split into 7. Can you guess? Started the one center. Which one of us? Continued the on of the far left. Is the real Suzaku? Finished the one to the right of center. We all are. Chorused the 7 Suzakus as they continued to laugh. Black secret technique. The prism of 7. Unlike your pathetic technique, we are not copies or shadows. Each Suzaku possesses its own free will, which makes for a rather destructive combination of attacks. Well, this sucks. If I drop the armor, I can use shadow clones to combat the superior numbers, but run the risk of getting hit by his lightning attacks. I'll have to wait for him to expose the weakness in this technique, thought Naruto as he unsheathed his blade. Using his superior speed, Naruto rushed the 7 Suzakus, slicing and dicing with his blade as it crackled with lightning. While outnumbered, he was still stronger and faster than each individual Suzaku and managed to deal some vicious wounds to his enemies, downing 5 of them before he was knocked back by the last 2. As he looked back to appreciate his handiwork, he noticed that he managed to badly wound the original, by the way it kept bitching about its injuries. Damn you! I don't know how managed to find me, let alone inflict so much damage. However, it doesn't matter in the long run. Suddenly the copies all dissolved into energy and returned to his body, healing the wounds. Prism of 7 restoration. He then reformed the prism of 7 all over again. Another great aspect of this technique, I can use the energy of my copies to heal myself before reforming them all over again. Do you now understand the direness of your situation? Taunted Suzaku. Yeah, I'll just have kill all 7 of you. Retorted Naruto. Not if we destroy you first. Chorused all 7 as they jumped into the air preparing Storm of Torment attacks. Prism Storm of Torment. All 7 Suzakus fired their lightning attacks like arrows at Naruto, who to their shock brought his blade in front, and using it to absorb all their attacks. Immediately his armor crackled with lightning from all the power absorbed from the attacks. I should thank you. If you never released an attack with so much magical energy, I could never have channeled enough power to activate my most devastating attack in this armor. Since most of my magic power goes into maintaining my speed in this armor, I need some outside help to do this. Thunderbolt Cut. A slash-like blast of lightning shot from Naruto's blade before splitting into 7, each nailed a Suzaku in the chest. You may have had S-class power, but you're nothing more than a one-trick pony. The Suzaku copies vanished, leaving the original dead Suzaku collapsed on the ground. Naruto's armor soon dissipated as he marched across the room to where the safe was. He formed a Rasengan and got to work on opening it. The Duke stared in front of him in shock, unable to comprehend what just happened. Well, sorry Duke, but it looks like this is the end of your games. Yes, we can't afford to associate with someone so far in the red. That's the least of his problems. With the ledger gone, his clients will be looking to eliminate the leak. Commented the third gambler before he and the first 3 vanished. I'll expect my funds by tomorrow morning. The winning you got from the others should provide you enough to go into hiding. Good luck. Advised Akira before he vanished as well. The Duke just continued to stare in front of him in disbelief, before he fainted. A Naruto clone ducked into the room and grabbed him before returning from where it came. What took you guys so long? I got the ledger. Complained Elfman as he saw Gray, Happy and Natsu approaching the front gate. The stupid safe. It was full of women's underwear. Complained Gray, who had a few panties leaking out of his pockets. Sucks for you. We got cheese whiz and fish. Gloated Natsu with a mouth full of cheese. Good fish. Exclaimed Happy as he bit into a fish. Suddenly a window above them busted open as Naruto and pair clones leaped out, all carrying rucksacks filled to the brim. Haul ass. My clones clogged all the drains on the deck this place with water spray tags. He yelled as he hopped over the gate. You're still doing that wet bandit gag. Yelled Gray in disbelief as they took off after him. Rumor had it Naruto nearly flooded 3 towns when he tried this before. It's a classic. Replied the real Naruto as he formed a hand sign once they got far enough away. Soon after a loud explosion could be heard. Oops, sorry boss, I guess those were explosive tags. Stated a Naruto clone with sheepish grin. Damn it. Well, at least we cleared the building. Commented the original. You are so taking the fall for this one. Stated Elfman. Doesn't matter, the council loves me. Replied Naruto with devilish grin. Kyubi and Lucy had just left the home of their client. The book was revealed to be Dear KB same way as in the manga, when she suddenly paused as if sensing the mansion explode. Something tells me Naruto needs to be punished, and not in a good way, grumbled Kyubi. What was that? Questioned Lucy. Nothing, she replied. I can't believe you turned down 2 million jewels. Whined Lucy. Don't worry, we're going to get paid. Naruto looted the Duke of Everloose Mansion on his way out. Kirby Melon just inherited 4 million from the Duke for services rendered by his father. We get our cut from that. Replied Kyubi. Won't we get in trouble for robbing him? Questioned Lucy. I'm sure he's got bigger problems to worry about than reporting a robbery. Retorted a laughing Kyubi. Currently said Duke was strung up on a flagpole by his underwear in the center of town. Back at the home of one Akira Rose, he stepped away from his chair before becoming enveloped in a swirl of sparkling light, and revealing himself to be Mary Jane. So what do you think? She asked her sister, who was seated at an office desk to the left of her. Tsuna is the butler for a corrupt nobleman, and Annalise is the assassin maid sent to do him in. She turns him to her side after discovering that he is actually the illegitimate son of the nobleman, and true heir to his fortune. This is fantastic material. All I need is a few details. She trailed off, giving Mary Jane a pointed look. I was talking about the money. And why don't you use your own sex life for material? She yelled at her little sister. The second book didn't sell as well as the others. I'm sure Natsu's gotten much better since then. That's not the point. Besides, I could always get it from Kana. Fine, same deal as last time. What do you do with all those Eastport pineapple slices and strawberry jam anyway? Questioned Lisana. Mary Jane suddenly gained a fierce blush and hungry look in her eye. Well, you slipped the pineapple slices right over. What if Naruto's strongest mage of fairy tale harem? And thanks for watching my video till the end. If you enjoy this content, then do consider subscribing to my channel. And leave a like if you guys need the next part. Comment down, and thanks for watching the video, and see you guys in the next video.